All sports, all the time.
There's heroes and there's legends. Heroes get remembered. Legends never die.
This is the Spoken Podcast.
Hold your ears, folks. It's showtime.
I'm your host, Lance Twidwell.
Man, that kid, he can ball, man. He can ball.
Touchdown, Kansas City!
Patrick freaking Mahomes, baby!
Let's talk some sports, because that's what we're here to do.
You are tuned in to The Spoken.
This is the Spoken Podcast. I'm your host, Lance Twidwell, here inside the Starcade Media Studios with my guy, Trevor Twidwell.
What's good?
Episode 299. Holy Scheiße for the German people out there. That means shit. We are at 299 episodes, guys. We are inching ever so closely to that 300 mark. I would say that I never saw it coming, but god damn it, I did. This is something Trevor and I, and along with our buddy Eddie Ortiz, sought out many, many years ago, and we are here, and we are ready to accomplish some great things. I hope you guys are ready for it as well, and that's why I'm assuming you guys are here with us today, because you want to be a part of what we do here, and that is why we are here to talk to you. That is what we're here to do today, is to communicate back and forth, and that is why I want to say thank you so much for being with us today, whether you're live streaming, podcasting, or YouTubing. We do appreciate your time on this awesome Saturday. The snow plows have finally hit our neighborhoods after a week of the snow apocalypse out here in Kansas City. If you're over on the West Coast and you're in the maybe in the LA area, our hearts are with you guys. We hope that everyone's out there being safe. I know that's been a devastating situation over there in all seriousness, and I hope that every one of you that might be over there are staying safe. I talked to a friend of Trevor and I's that lives in that area just a couple days ago. They're doing well. So, I just want to put my heart out there for you guys that are maybe struggling with that, or you have family. Just stay close to them guys and keep in touch with them, make sure they're doing all right. But anywhere else, I know that it's been some pretty drastic weather that we've had out here in the Midwest. So I hope you guys are doing all right. I hope you guys are ready to buckle down and have a great show with us today, because we need your guys' help to do so, which is why I tell you at the top of every single show, and I tell you at the bottom of every single show, if you've not already done it, go to youtube.com. Go to the Spoken Podcast, hit subscribe, share, notify, like, all that stuff. We very much appreciate every time you guys do those things, because it gets the algorithm out there and it helps us grow this show. And that's where we're really trying to gain more presence, is on Twitter, or is on YouTube rather. We've really taken care of things on Facebook, Twitter, and places like that. But we're trying to maximize our growth on that side. So we very much appreciate if you guys will do that. You guys go in there and also get in the comments while we're doing the show live. Make sure and be a part of the show. Make sure and comment during the show, so that way you are an actual part of the show as it's going about. We'll put your name on there, we'll put your comments out here, and we get your guys' questions, because we have a segment right in the middle of the show called Speak It, where we let you guys literally have the entire segment of the show, where your guys' questions are the center point, the centerpiece of what we're discussing, and we take time to do that every single show, and it's been we've been doing that now for about a year and a half now, and it's been the best thing we could have done. We should have done it long before then. We're just now, like shows grow, we learn and we evolve and we get things taken care of. That's what we're doing with this, and it's been an absolute blast. Every single week we've seen so many more regulars come about. We've seen so many more people from all over the freaking world be a part of this show, just simply by making that one little move, that one little change. And I can't wait for the things that 2025 brings us, man. It's going to be a great year. 2024 was awesome for us here, but we're looking forward to more here in 2025. So hang with us, guys. We have a lot of great things going about. Trevor, how are you doing, man? I'm sure you've had a trying week, but you had some really good things happen this morning. I don't know if you want to share that at all or anything, because I know we kind of alluded to it in the past on previous shows, but if you want to go ahead and do that, man, you can.
No, this was a long week for me. Last couple weeks have been long weeks for me, just because of the field of work I work in, logistics and transportation. But other than that, today was a good morning. Scarlett, my daughter, had volleyball games. I wasn't able to attend her last games, but she balled out today. She's a team captain, and she led the team in successful serves. They won both their games this morning. So successful start to the day, and I'm hoping to continue that. But she, kudos to my daughter. She killed it today, man. So
shout out to my niece.
Shout out Scarlett.
I've always said that she reminds me of me athletically, so it makes a lot of sense that she's so great at sports.
She is one of the shortest ones on the team.
That's not funny. It's not funny at all, actually. That's quite offensive. I might have to talk to corporate about that one. We're going to go to HR about this one, man. Oh, wait, we are HR.
Do
here.
it.
This is going to get really awkward really quick.
Decline.
Yeah, exactly. We've
you're rolling
we've
straight
upheld
mouth, man.
Lance or Trevor's statements. Yeah, man. So look, we're here to have a great time, guys. We have a lot to get to because now I don't know if you guys noticed, but it is officially postseason time in the NFL. Our favorite time of the year. Our show is when we clamp down on so much NFL. And I think this is the best time of year, man, right when the wild card games start to come about. Yeah, and we have games today. So Trevor and I are going to give you guys a little bit of a prediction show as well on what we see happening. Yes, the Chiefs aren't playing today or this weekend, but that doesn't matter, man, because there's some key matchups in this one that I think could affect the Chiefs' run to the postseason. And I'm ready for that to take place, man. I'm ready. I cannot wait to hear what Trevor and I have not really talked a lot about where we see this going. We did have a prediction show before the season.
Yeah.
And we did have the same matchup in the Super Bowl, but it did the way it happened was a little bit different. So I want to see if we're going to stick to a lot of the way we see things going, or maybe there's some changes because the NFL season brings change, man. It's a lot different than what we were expecting in a lot of ways. So really excited to get to that. Want to hear from you guys as well. But Trevor, we need to get this thing kicked off, man. And I think the only way to do it is like we normally do. Without further ado, it is time for Lance Rants.
Gotta scream! Yeah! We're back on motion! From out to the new beat!
There's a little sidebar that I want to put there at the beginning of this rant that I'm about to have, Trevor. I was up early this morning and I was driving, and I always like to tune into other shows and hear what other people are talking about, because I like to draw inspiration from other people, whether it's, just studying cadences or delivery or thought, the way that they get their audience to listen, thought-provoking questions or takes. I'm always trying to study other people to kind of better understand things. And I had one of the most hilarious experiences this morning because I don't usually listen to sports radio on the weekends early in the morning. And it is a completely different animal, dude, than weekdays. Because weekdays, you have your local stations that already have shows going on, or you have your national shows, and it's like the same Rolodex of people that you're accustomed to. Well, this morning I heard this show, and I'm going to do my best to give this an interpretation. I don't even remember what the guys' names are, but I remember turning on the station, and I had only like on 3, and these guys were blowing my eardrums out. I think it was Frankie and Joey, and we're giving you our best bets of the week. You cannot lose. We're going to do everything we can in our power to make you a winner. We've been winning all year. We're going to keep winning all year. And it wasn't just the bets thing. What I heard was this take that this guy had. I don't even know how he got there.
Narratives.
But he started talking about the NBA, and he started saying, I'm watching the NBA now. I can't even watch it. These guys, they're all friends. They're all friends. They don't despise each other like they used to back in the day. You had Michael Jordan, and he used to hate everyone, and it was always a problem with this guy or this guy. What happened to the good old days? And I'm sitting here going, yeah, man, it was such they used to hate each other so much that during the 1993 finals, MJ and Danny Ainge were playing golf during the NBA finals while facing off against each other. It was so bad back in the 80s, Trevor, that Magic Johnson and Isaiah Thomas were kissing each other literally on the court before and after games. It used to be so terrible, dude. They used to play harder. They used to play harder, Trevor. They used to play harder in the generations previous. Before James Harden came around, it was harder. Now they don't play hard, Trevor.
I just wish we had social media back then.
Man, the reason I'm putting that out there to start the show, guys, obviously is to get kind of break the ice. But if Trevor and I ever turn into curmudgeons like that, please cancel our show, because I heard nothing but utter ignorance on these shows this morning, and I felt so much better about coming on this show today and giving you guys what we have, because I felt it was so bad, man, to have that on radio waves in my city. I take that very offensively, because we've seen some great people in this city before. We had Nick Wright obviously become who he is. Danny Parkins is taking off, doing what he's done, man. They have not been able to replace that type of talent in the afternoon drive since those guys have left. But
that was probably national radio.
It is national.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It's just funny though to think about like how different things have happened, since that time, and to hear that's a national show of all things. It was like Craig Carton on steroids, dude. It was hilarious, dude. So it was just shameful. Like I said, if that ever happens here, and Trevor and I are the old heads, talking nonsense, make sure and unsubscribe from this channel. We very much appreciate it, because we don't deserve you at that point. But Trevor, I want to start the show off with something that I've been very consistent about since the conversation became relevant. The MVP discussion is something we still have to touch on because it still has not been decided yet as to who's going to be the MVP. I will say this right now, based upon the All-Pro votes, if anybody outside of Lamar Jackson wins MVP based upon that, it's per se Josh Allen, it's an inside job.
Josh Allen's going to win it.
But if he does, I think it's an inside job because he does not deserve it. And I will explain that in a second. But the point I want to bring up with this is we have to set some new ground rules, because last week I petitioned, we need to understand what it is that we're basing the MVP off of. Now I want to discuss a little bit about the timeline of when we actually should start discussing it. My rule, my own personal rule, and other people can use it or leave it alone. My own personal rule is I don't talk MVP until every team has had their bye week.
Yeah.
Because I think the last bye week is what, week 13 or 14? Mm-hmm. By that time, I think that's when the MVP discussion should be
something to look back on.
But what sucks is ESPN and FS1 and all these other shows, what they do is they start talking MVP by week 1 and 2.
It's a smart move, honestly.
Right, because narratives are created.
It gets the ears, man.
The problem with that, though, Trevor, is it becomes a dishonest conversation. Because when you create a narrative that early on in a season, at that point, you're starting to argue everyone else against that player or that player against everyone else, as opposed to allowing it to be a big picture frame, a big picture situation, and let everyone have their shot at it.
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, Trevor, Saquon Barkley should be in the MVP discussion higher than Josh Allen. Because he's been the one constant on that Eagles team that's kept them where they're at, and they're the 3 seed in the
higher than Josh Allen. Maybe
in my opinion,
maybe
yes.
Burrow, but not. Josh Allen.
Burrow's not even in my MVP discussion. I'm actually somebody that sees the truth, and when you have a guy that is on a team that could have very well made the playoffs had he played better, and everyone's like, well, look at his stats. Josh Allen, look at Joe Burrow in certain instances when he blew games they should not have lost.
Yeah, I just agree with you about the Josh Allen.
Well, that's fine.
Josh Allen is more impactful to his team than Saquon, in my opinion. But
we can have that discussion. The point I'm trying to bring up, Trevor, is if we looked at this from a full season perspective, I do believe that people would see it from my point of view when it comes to who the real MVP of this is. And I'm going to explain it right now, Trevor. So This stat blew me the hell away, dude. I had to look at it multiple times just to make sure that I wasn't tripping. Go ahead and throw that first stat up there, Trevor. You look at this real quick. Would you look at it? These are Patrick Mahomes' yards from scrimmage leaders this season. Kareem Hunt, who was it week 2?
He led the team.
Wasn't even on the team, was on the street. Led the entire team in yards from scrimmage. Do you notice anything about all these numbers, Trevor?
Not 1,000-yard.
Not one 1,000-yard guy on this team. Do you know that Patrick Mahomes is the first quarterback to ever lead a team to 15-plus wins in a season without one single guy that got 1,000 yards from scrimmage? The first ever. We're in 2025, and that has never happened.
He's got more yards from scrimmage than his wide receiver 3 in Justin Watson.
Think about that, dude. Think about that.
He's been our wide receiver 3 all year.
Think about that.
He's got more yards from scrimmage just rushing the ball than Justin Watson.
Kareem Hunt.
That's nuts.
Who wasn't, and we're Team Kareem here. Well, we've always been his guy. Well, that's always been our guy. Wasn't on this team to start the season.
Yeah.
Led the team in yards and had 904.
That speaks a lot to Kareem, too, man.
Oh, yeah. Praise to Kareem.
He changed our whole year.
But you want to see the conversation everyone's been having about Josh Allen is, well, look at the difference in all pros and Pro Bowlers that Lamar had to Josh Allen. Look at this. And compare that to Josh Allen. Josh Allen had James Cook, who had over 1,000 rushing yards this season.
We had a tougher schedule on top of that, and we had more wins on top of that.
And more injuries. I mean, dude, not to mention, and I always hammer this point home, Patrick Mahomes did this and still led the league in game-winning drives and fourth-quarter comebacks. You know that Patrick Mahomes had this season the second most game-winning drives in a single season in NFL history? Kirk Cousins and Matt Stafford set the record with 8 in the same season, ironically, 2 years ago. Patrick Mahomes has the second most with 7.
Say Stafford's up there all time, too.
Oh, yeah.
Pat's up there all time as well.
And Kirk Cousins, too. He's been pretty fucking clutch in his career as well.
Yeah.
But how about this, Trevor? I love wins above replacement. That's always been a big a proponent of mine when it comes to value. WAR, it's a big, because that number goes across sports.
Yeah.
WAR is a very important stat to me. If you look at this next stat here, Trevor, wins above replacement for quarterbacks on dropbacks. That means every time they weren't handing the ball off. Dropbacks. Look at these.
God damn Aaron Rodgers, bro.
Look at this stat. Patrick Mahomes is head and shoulders better than any other quarterback in the league. I mean, that is insane to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this isn't the end-all, be-all, but when you combine that with the fact, again, he did not have a single player with 1,000 yards from scrimmage, not to mention the fact he had Xavier Worthy, who right now I think has the third most yards from scrimmage by a rookie receiver by a team. If they go to the Super Bowl, will be the third most yards by a receiver in their first season, a rookie receiver in their first season for a Super Bowl contending team. Mm. So all the odds have been stacked against Patrick Mahomes. And look at this. Despite that, despite not having a left tackle, despite having several injuries on both sides of the ball, he was the most valuable player in dropbacks every time he dropped back. And you know what's funny, Trevor? It's almost as if the voters who vote for regular season MVP know that this is the truth when it matters the most who the MVP is. Look at Super Bowl MVP odds, Trevor, real quick. On that next slide.
I got bruised.
Yeah, that one, yeah.
I got you.
Sorry. So this was according to First Things First. These are the Super Bowl MVP odds. Wild, huh? Look who's number one. Why is that, Trevor? Why would the guy who's not even in the top 6 in MVP odds for the regular season, why is he the number one guy for Super Bowl MVP odds? Why would that be the case? Can you think of anything? Maybe it's the fact that he's the most valuable player in the league.
When it comes down to
when it comes to the grand scheme, brass tacks type of shit. Why is he ahead of everybody else? When Trevor, you know the Chiefs don't even have the best odds to win the Super Bowl right now. The Lions do. So Patrick Mahomes not even in the top 5 in MVPs in odds. They're not even the favorites to win the Super Bowl right now. Yet Patrick Mahomes is the favorite to win Super Bowl MVP. They're literally telling on themselves by doing it this way. It is in plain sight, in plain English, kids. Well, the narrative's there.
Voters in Vegas are two different things, but yeah, it still correlates.
You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, the voters in Vegas, they work. It works in unison because the odds have to come from something.
Yeah,
they have to know. Okay, where are they leaning? You know what I mean? Like Vegas knows what they're doing.
Oh yeah, where's the money coming in too? I mean, money talks.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's narratives driven.
There's obviously a lot of money
something.
on Pat.
Yes.
To win MVP in the Super Bowl.
It's just. Dude, I couldn't help but bring it back up when I saw these stats and I saw the odds. I'm like, I know the viewers, and I'm sure even Trevor is probably sick of talking about this. I don't want to really talk a lot about it. I have to address this once again because, guys, Patrick's not going to win the MVP this year, even though he should again. And Andy Reid's not going to win Coach of the Year when he should again. I made a tweet the other day, Trevor. I think Andy Reid should have won Coach of the Year in 2013 when he first came to Kansas City, and they were a +9 in the win column from one year to the next.
Right.
And they have almost the exact same roster outside of the quarterback, and Alex Smith wasn't some world beater. Then in 2018, when they moved from Alex Smith and went with Patrick Mahomes, everybody was doubting the Chiefs, calling him a project. They go to the AFC Championship there, win the 1 seed in the AFC with the Patriots dynasty still intact. He should have won Coach of the Year that year.
Yep.
And then this year, he should have won Coach of the Year. With all the injuries, everything stacked against him, clearly Patrick Mahomes can't be the MVP this year, guys, right? Okay, then who was the one that was driving the bus then to a 15-1 schedule in meaningful games? It had to be Andy Reid then. So how about we give him Coach of the Year? Nope. He's currently, I think, like 7th or 8th in odds right now. To me, this is becoming a disrespectful thing, man. And I can't help but feel it. I can't help but be angry about it and have to express it on this show because no one else is talking about it. I've listened to local radio. No one's mentioning this stuff. We have to be the ones to talk about it. We have to be the ones that bring this stuff up because it does matter. Because, Trevor, MVPs, Super Bowl MVP, regular season, those literally create legacies.
Yeah.
You realize if Lamar Jackson wins this MVP that he has more than Patrick Mahomes? He has more. Right now, he has more All-Pro votes than Patrick Mahomes. That shit matters.
In his career?
Yes. Peyton Manning right now has 7 All-Pro votes, or 7 All-Pro selections. That's twice as much as Tom Brady. Like, those things... You could paint a narrative that because of those things, Peyton was the better individual quarterback.
More MVPs.
Yes.
Yeah.
But everybody goes to what? Well, it's rings. So I hope that people keep the same energy in these conversations. Because what it looks like right now, Trevor, is Lamar's obviously already edged himself a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah.
If Lamar retired right now, I think he's a Hall of Famer. I do. But here's the problem. We ignore the playoff lackluster performances he's had
Sure.
because it's convenient to do that. That's why, Trevor, I always tell you, no one comes for some of the great players like Steph Curry or Tim Duncan or any of those other guys that everybody hailed as some of the greats all time, because none of them threatened Michael Jordan's legacy. The only one that threatened Michael Jordan's legacy was LeBron James. That's why everyone's always tried to tear him down. That is what's happening with Patrick Mahomes. He's the only one that legitimately threatens Tom Brady.
Yeah. Like immediately.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson doesn't right now.
There was no time.
Josh Allen doesn't right now. Joe Burrow doesn't right now.
Yeah.
They haven't had the accolades and team achievements to threaten that legacy.
Well, and at the same time, nothing creates to talk about legacy. Nothing. We can talk MVPs and what that does for your personal legacy, but nothing creates legacy like championships, right? And I think Patrick Mahomes understands that. And I don't even. I'm the type of guy that's like, I kind of like that they're being slighted continuously because it just continues to feed the beast.
Yeah.
It just gives us fuel more and more. So I like, because that's how I am personally. I like being doubted. Like, oh, you're going to, oh, okay. Like, I know that's how that Pat is. I know that's how Kelsey is. I know that's how Andy Reid is.
Yeah.
Competitive as hell. Likes being doubted. Likes being, looked at as the underdog, even if they're not like the Vegas dog. They still like the chatter is against them. That's why the Burrowhead stuff, all that stuff. Since then, we've been on this amazing run. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think, look, I understand your frustrations with, the MVP stuff and the voting and the stats that Lamar is putting up and these guys, Burrow and all these guys that are putting up. It's very flashy, but at the end of the day, their legacy is going to be overshadowed. I don't care if Lamar gets 12 MVPs. It's still going to be overshadowed by what Pat's doing right now. So, I mean, for me, the MVP vote odds for the Super Bowl MVP speaks for itself, like you said, with that graphic. So if Pat keeps racking up Super Bowl MVPs, that's all that's going to matter for a legacy, man. So,
I couldn't agree more. I definitely agree. The humor in it is just something we just cannot.
It's disrespect.
Not address.
It's legitimately disrespect.
Yes.
It 100. You can't call it anything else. That is disrespectful to what Pat has done, what Andy Reid has done, what they continue to do, looking for a third in a row, something that's never been done, and we're going to try to like prop up all these other guys to give them participation trophy situations. Cool, man. I mean, it is what it is. Like, that's where I'm at. It's because we're on a tier of our own.
Yeah.
It's lonely at the top, man.
It does get there.
Let them talk among themselves. You know what I mean? Let them do that. That's fine. But we're up here, bro. We're looking down on everybody at the moment. So until someone takes us down, let them have their moment.
Well, speaking of letting people have their moment, I want to give a shout out to the chat real quick. Everybody that's in here. Douglas Slyman, what's up, brother? He said, "What's good, gentlemen?" Dust Norton, sorry. Good morning, boys. Cooper says good morning as well. What's up, Coop? I'm sure Dustin has a question there. We'll talk about that in a second. Max, what's up? John, our boy Johnny Harrison's in there. Lonnie Pyramid said, "What's up?"
Yep.
Shout out to all you guys and everybody that's in the chat, man. I can't see everybody that's elsewhere, but if you guys want to jump in on YouTube side of things, man, that's where we will definitely be talking more exclusively. If you guys would be so kind, we appreciate all the viewers on Facebook, Twitter, everywhere else.
Yeah,
Trust me.
We got some people from X on here as well.
Yeah, thank you guys for being here, man. I really do appreciate it. We just, like I said, we just suggest sliding over on YouTube, getting in the chat over there, and we can talk to you guys a little more exclusively on there. We'd very much appreciate that. Our guy Mac10, what up, guys? What's up? So, wasn't there last week because I was went hiking, but I'm back. Hey, I hope that was fun hiking, man. I haven't been hiking in a long time.
Exercising, man.
That's a real great exercise. Hope you avoided the mountain lions because them bitches are scary. So let's. I wanted to address something else as well, Trevor. I think this is the far more even than the MVP discussion. Is the conversation I think that gets Chiefs fans really heated, and
At
more
the moment,
more
sure.
so, Trevor, heated at me.
Come on.
I know, right? That's never the case, but
Controversial takes. No
believe it or not, dude, yeah, I had a lot of I had a lot of heat come my way this week, and it didn't really bother me. I had to state the obvious here because we know what Joe Thuney is and isn't as a player. We know what he is. He is. I would make the case he is the most valuable offensive lineman the Chiefs have. I remember when the Chiefs first signed him, gave that humongous deal, which at that time was the record-breaking contract for a guard in NFL history.
Might be the most valuable offensive lineman in football. Bro.
And you might be right. But I remember when they gave that contract to him 3-4 years ago. so many people are like, God, what are you paying him for like that? Well, I don't understand. What the hell? Like, that's a lot of money for a guy who's 28, 29 years old who plays guard. And from day one, I haven't heard a peep about anybody ever saying that again, because we've seen what Joe Toney is, and he is a Hall of Fame player.
And what guys are getting paid at that position now?
Now, yeah, he set the market, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Because the guys that came after him, like, bet I'm not as good as Joe Toney, but he set the market, and that's how it goes. That's business, babe. Yeah. And Joe has been nothing short of marvelous and all-time great for the Chiefs. If it wasn't for Will Shields, I'd say he's the best left guard the Chiefs have ever had. Well, I think, did Will play right guard? I feel like an idiot right now. Maybe he played right guard.
If we're talking
guards,
too,
period.
Bro, I mean, yeah.
I will say this. Without question, Joe Toney's one of the 3 best guards I think this franchise ever had.
Bro.
I mean, he's about to have 5 rings, yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to put this out here, though, because I'm seeing a lot of people, I've seen friends, I've seen a lot of other folks suggest that the Chiefs have to keep Joe Toney at left tackle. And I get the worry, I get the concern, because, guys, the biggest hole the Chiefs have had on their roster this year has been at left tackle. So much so they had to move their left guard to left tackle for a time. But I put this tweet out here, Trevor. We can put that up there real quick. I put this tweet out here a couple days ago, and I said, and I just broke it down in plain English for everyone to understand. Joe Toney is not a left tackle. Joe Toney is a left guard. Joe Toney playing left tackle in a pinch is fine. Joe Toney playing left tackle for an extended period of time, especially in a playoff run, is not. The Chiefs are at their best with DJ Humphries at left tackle and Joe Toney at left guard. Don't overthink this. The reason I put this out there this week, guys, is because the Chiefs are not going to start their playoff run with Joe Toney at left tackle. It's not going to happen. And I find it almost puzzling. I'm not here to call anybody out, Trev, but I'm just going to say it. You remembered all the heat I was taking when I was saying 2 years ago the Chiefs need to go get D-Hop. And everybody was like, Lance, this wide receiver room is fine. They got Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore. They're going to be just fine.
Yeah.
Why don't you trust Brett Veach, Lance? He's won us a couple Super Bowls. Don't you think you should trust him? Trust Veach, Lance. It's the same folks that said that to me that are now coming at me when I'm telling you what Brett Veach is literally going to do and what the Chiefs have been doing, what Andy Reid's going to be doing, and they're the ones that are saying that shouldn't happen. Isn't that ironic how that works? Is that everyone thinks an opinion's ridiculous until it's theirs. It's funny how that works. And I now am getting crushed now because I'm defending the Chiefs and what they're doing. That is just wild to me. How the tables are, how the turntables.
Can't win, buddy.
You know what I mean? You just can't win. Yeah. But see, Trevor, you know why I feel great about my take? Even more so, and I would stand by it regardless of who came against me, but it makes you feel even better when you know who's coming alongside you with this take. Why don't you go ahead and look at the next one, Trevor, real quick, if you could. This is our guy, Mr. Cookie Expert, if you will. I don't know if you guys know who he is. His name is Jeff Allen. Used to play for the Chiefs. Played in this league for quite a while, actually. I believe it was 11 seasons. He put, what is it? What does that say right there, Trevor?
It says Lance is correct with the thumbs up.
Wow. It didn't stop there.
That was hard for me to read.
I know, dude. Hey, listen, those 3 words are tough to digest, but you know what?
Well, it's because they're rare.
They're rare. Rare dubs up in this bitch, but I get them. You know what I mean? I get the dubs. And I get another dub because our dear buddy, dear pal, dear brother, Mr. Jason Dunn, Mr. JD himself, followed this up with another tweet of his own. If we can put that one up there, Trevor. He goes a little bit more in detail than our guy.
Followed it up with a novel.
Yeah.
This
is an excerpt from Love and War. So our guy Jason Dunn says this. Absolutely 1,000% agree. The reasoning is that DJ Humphries specializes in playing left tackle and Joe Toney specializes in playing left guard. Now, if DJ Humphries is at full strength to play and healthy, then he plays. Joe Toney is one hell of a player and a rare bird. He has shown the ability to play anywhere on the offensive line at a very high level, and Mike Caliendo filling at left guard did a good job beside him when Joe moved out to left tackle. But if I'm looking for the best combination, the best tandem at our disposal with DJ being healthy, it's not even a question on who I'd go with. It would be DJ Humphries and Joe Toney, full stop. Joe and Mike are the contingency plan if DJ is not at full strength and not healthy, period. What more is needed? Trevor, this is literally verbatim of what I've been telling these people for weeks. That the safety valve is going to be there. If the Chiefs have to do it, they'll put Joe Toney at left tackle again. If they have to do it.
Yeah.
But that's the point. They don't have to do it. And it is unfair to sit here and say, well, DJ Humphries hasn't impressed me to this point, so they should just go with Joe Thuney. Guys, DJ hasn't had a true chance to show you what he is. I understand it's a risk to do that, but it's also a risk to put your left guard at left tackle. Because what if Joe Thuney has a bad game?
It's also a risk to play football.
It is.
Period.
It's a risk to do anything.
Yeah.
But I feel more comfortable having an established 10-year vet at left tackle play left tackle.
Pro Bowl caliber.
While a 10-year vet at left guard plays left guard. It's really that simple. Yes, Caliendo's been a nice spot fill. Yes, Thuney's been a nice spot fill. That is not their natural positions. It is not what you want to see them doing down the stretch. The best opportunity the Chiefs have of winning a Super Bowl is if DJ Humphries, like our guy JD just said, is healthy and plays decent. Now, maybe DJ doesn't play healthy or doesn't play decent. Then you do what everyone's wanting you to do. But that opportunity has to still be given to DJ Humphries because they brought him in to do that very thing. He was brought in here to be the starting left tackle because Wanyas Morass was not doing the job. He sucks. My boy Kingsley Suamataia clearly wasn't ready for the stage. And maybe he never will be. And maybe he gets moved to guard. I don't know. All I do know is that's our reality. And the reality has set us in motion so desperately, they had to move Joe Thuney over there until DJ got healthy. But you guys do know that if DJ was healthy, they would never move Joe Thuney to left tackle because they wouldn't have had to. So we have to let's just practice what we preach here real quick, ladies and gentlemen. Let's trust in Beach. Let's trust Andy Reid, the guys that have won us these Super Bowls. Because that's what I'm doing. I'm simply applying common practice and logic to this situation. They clearly brought in DJ Humphries for a reason, spent money on him the moment he was healthy. The day he was medically cleared, who signed him, Trevor? The Chiefs. And they gave him some serious money. That wasn't some veteran minimum. Yeah. They gave him millions of dollars.
Starter money.
They gave him starter, thank you.
Yeah.
A man who had a torn ACL, missed 11 months of football, they signed him on the spot. No questions asked. So they knew the value that he presented for this team and how much he matters to this team from day one. So do not be shocked when it's the divisional round, whoever the Chiefs are facing, you see number 70 at the left tackle position. I mean, Trevor, do you have anything to add to this? Because this is where it stands, man. I don't even know why we're debating this.
No, I mean, we haven't really seen DJ at full strength and DJ what he can really provide. So there is a bit of mystery to the situation, sure. And there's a bit of confirmation bias to what Joe Thuney has done and can do moving forward to that position because we all have seen him get the job done already and you know, against really good pass rushers as well in the last few weeks of the season. So there is a bit of confirmation bias there just because we know what can be done and what has been done by Joe Thuney. But at the same time, we also know the nature of Joe Thuney's position and what he does, what his career has been, and what position he's played through his career, what he's best at. And we want guys playing at their best positions, at their, as far as what they are best at. So I think that makes a lot of sense leaning into the guy who's a true left tackle, a guy who's been a Pro Bowler before, just hasn't been healthy enough. And if he's healthy enough to go, there was no setbacks to my knowledge in that Broncos game when he was out there. But I think the contingency plan is set in place if need be, if he is struggling, and these are win or go home situations. So if he's struggling early, he might be on a short leash. That's how I'm looking at it. That's if I was coaching, that's how I would be. I would have him on a short leash because we can't afford to struggle too long at that position in these kind of games against whoever it is we face, because it's going to be top-notch competition out there in this next round of games. So I'm with it. I'm with you. I agree with you. I think you play the guys that are true to their form, true to their positions, and we brought him in here to do that. But I mean, at the same time, I also agree with the other side as well, seeing it from both sides here, that Joe Thuney can get that job done, has gotten that job done. If need be, that'll be the case. But I do believe in Humphries. I do believe in Veach's analysis and the vetting process they did before even bringing him over here, because I'm sure there was conversations going on for a long time before he even passed the physical stuff to get back into even play in football shape. So I'm trusting. Obviously we trust in Veach over here. to make the right decisions. He made the right decision to make certain guys healthy scratches last year, Kadarius Toney and so on and so forth, and we won in spite of them. So I think we will win because of a true left tackle stepping up and playing his position. And I think Humphries is one of those guys that's going to step up and do that. So, and Joe Tooney is going to do what he does no matter where you put him on the offensive line. But I'm with you, man. I agree. I think we're in agreement here. Although I do see both sides to it.
There's also some news that came out this week, and I don't really know why it's really shocking anybody, because this is he's the GOAT at what he does. We're seeing the news. If we can put it on the screen real quick, Trevor. This is one of the more earlier tweets out there from Mike Garafolo. Mm-hmm. The Jets are requesting an interview with Chiefs defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo for their head coaching spot, sources say. The two-time Giants DC and interim head coach will discuss a potential return to Jersey. So I saw a lot of panic amongst Chiefs fans, a lot of angst amongst Chiefs fans about this, because it makes them feel like, oh shit, that means that Spags is done. He's no longer, this is his last year with the Chiefs. That's, once you start taking interviews for head coaching jobs, that means you're done. I got to be careful how I say this, because I don't want it to come as a slight to Spags, because Spags is somebody that I value immensely in Kansas City. I have such a profound respect for him as a coach and as a person. The stories I hear from our people over there at Big Charlie's, Trev, I mean, they. Yep. I don't want to give away too much, but let me just put it like this: Steve Spagnuolo and his wife are saints. They are
charitable, good people,
unbelievably great people. And obviously, you guys know the value he brings to the freaking team, and every single player just loves this man.
Yeah.
And I will say that I definitely believe that Spags deserves another shot at being a head coach.
100%.
100% deserves another shot. However, I don't think that shot's coming. I think what this is, if I'm just giving you guys my personal opinion, and that's all we're doing here, I think these teams are using people that are established and are great at what they do, like Steve Spagnuolo, as leverage for the guys they actually are aiming for. Who are these franchises aiming for, Trevor? Well, I can't speak for the Jets in particular, but I do know there are a lot of younger, progressive, offensive-minded coaches that these franchises are really trying to get. In particular, guys like Ben Johnson, Matt Nagy, Slowick. Guys like that are guys that are very much on the top of a lot of people's radar, because that is the way of the future now. Everybody wants to get the next Andy Reid. Everybody gets the next Sean McVay, the next Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
That's not Spags. Spags is almost 66 years old, and he's a defensive coordinator. That's not the way of the future in the NFL. If you look at the majority of coaches that have failed in the league of late, they have been the defensive type of coaches. Because that is not, unless you have like an absolute star-stud OC, it doesn't usually work. You don't have a lot of playoff success, and that OC usually ends up getting a head coaching job anyway. So I don't want to bury this. I don't want to sit here and say, oh, there's just no chance in hell Spags is getting it. Because again, there's a part of me that's really rooting for him to get it. Even though I know that we would love to see him stay here for the years to come. But I just think that where we're at right now, his age, what side of the ball he coaches, knowing he already had a shot and he failed at that shot, whether it's his fault or not, doesn't matter.
I mean, in our pure selfishness.
Yeah, and yes, I think there's. I just think that
How
there's.
dare you?
Yeah, right. I think there's a lot more going on than what this just indicates in its naked blanket statement, of what's happening. I'm not saying these franchises don't have any intentions of entertaining the thoughts. I just don't think that Steve Spagnuolo at his age is at the top of anyone's list. Because if that was the case, what was stopping teams from 2-3 years ago when he wasn't under contract through 2029 with the Chiefs?
Sitting out there.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't really see. Yeah, because Steve Spagnuolo 5 years ago, Trevor, was a free agent. He was sitting on his couch. And then the Chiefs, because of Andy Reid and his relationship, went and scooped him up when they got rid of Bob Sutton. And they let Steve Spagnuolo do his thing for the last 5-6 years. Mm-hmm. So, look, I'm rooting for Spags. I love the guy. I think he's an incredible person. He's a great coach. I just think that where he's at right now is where he fits best and where I think teams are going to kind of leave him. And I think he understands that because he's pretty much treated like a head coach here anyway. And, Andy Reid gives him full autonomy on the defense side. He does not bother him. He runs his unit, and he does this thing just like Andy Reid leaves Dave Tobe, who's actually the assistant coach of the team. He leaves him alone completely. He does not bother him about special teams unless something egregious happens, which seems to fucking happen every week with special teams. But I digress on that. The point is, Spags is, I think he's here to stay, guys. And I will paint this picture real quick, Trevor. Let's say I'm wrong. Let's say that Steve Spagnuolo gets this Jets job or gets the Raiders job or gets the Jaguars. Let's say any of these jobs. Yeah. Let's see Steve Spagnuolo goes and gets one. I still think the Chiefs are going to be fine. And here's why. A man on this roster who gets literally zero recognition and zero praise in the national media would be the guy that I think that they hire from within. Dave Merritt.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
Dave Merritt is, I think, the best secondary coach in the NFL.
Yeah.
What this man has done, because we praise Steve, and rightfully so, we praise Spags for the development of some of these young players.
Defensive linemen, yeah.
L'Jarius Sneed would have never been the player he is if it wasn't for Dave Merritt.
Sure.
Dave Merritt has done as good of a job as anyone in this league has done.
Jalen Watson from last year to this year.
I mean,
he was playing his best football this year.
Look what he is. And all these guys, when you talk to them, constantly praise Merritt. Brian Cook, can't talk enough about him. Justin Reed said that's the best coach he's ever had. I mean, Jaden Hicks, the development he's had already.
Well, and also you got to think about, too, if Spags does go, I mean, how much knowledge did he probably even pick up from Spags, too?
Right.
Spags is contagious, man. When you're around great coaches like that, look at the Andy Reid tree.
Yeah.
Look where Andy Reid came from, and all that knowledge trickles down.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. This last offseason, when I heard that the 49ers were in the works to try to get Merritt to be their DC, I was nervous.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I was like, losing Dave Merritt would almost be the equivalent of losing Spags. Because
those guys are a tandem too.
Yes,
those guys are great together.
He has that brain power, man, and that leadership quality that Merritt possesses. It does not get enough praise. And I'm telling you, if Spags was to somehow leave, the Chiefs would be all right. Because Dave Merritt, I believe, is a guy that should have been a DC years ago in this league. I think he's got more than enough intangibles to be that guy.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to paint all the scenarios here, guys. I think it's insanely unlikely that Steve Spagnuolo is not back in 2025 for the Chiefs. But even if that was the case where he is gone, the Chiefs have a guy in waiting that is more, and I mean more than capable enough to be the guy that leads that next generation of Chiefs defenses back to prominence. I think that this will be a top 10 defense with Dave Merritt. I truly believe that. So wanted to put that out there. I don't know if you have any extra thoughts on that, Trevor.
I mean, this is all. I mean, there's a lot of names. Rex Ryan's even getting floated out there for coaching jobs too. So I mean, Gruden as well. There's a lot of names getting thrown around. Spags obviously should be in the mix. Guys like that should be in the mix. Obviously, Nagy's gonna probably get a job. I think he's gone far more likely than Spags is. I don't want Spags to go anywhere, man.
Right.
It definitely could happen because things always change. Things can happen. And if he gets a good offer, I mean, I'm sure he should flatter himself and go hear these offers out 100%.
Sure.
And if it makes sense to him to go back towards home in the Jersey area, it makes a lot of sense for him to do that. I would not be mad at him at all. But I mean, selfishly, sit your ass down, stay put. Like, I don't want you going anywhere, man. Like, we need to keep this roller coaster rolling, especially if we win a third in a row. He better not go anywhere. That's how I feel. But if at the same time, like, I support people to make the decisions what's best for their family and the personal mental morale and makeup and what is best for them and their livelihood. So good people deserve good things, and if he chooses to take one of those good things, and I'm all for it, man. I support it. But I think we got a good thing going here right now. So
couldn't agree more. And I'd love to hear. I hope everyone that's watching this, you compile questions, compile takes on this, because I think these are real things we have to discuss. Because whether we believe that Spags is going to stick around or not, we do know, guys, that time does fly. And before we know it, even if we're not talking about Spags taking another job, we do know that him and Andy are in their mid-60s, which means that they're not going to be here for 10 more years. These guys, have a handful of seasons left.
Yeah.
So these are things we have to talk about anyway. And I know, knowing Andy Reid and Spags the way I do when it comes to who the coaches are, they already have plans of who their successors are probably going to be. And maybe Dave Merritt is that guy. I don't know, because Dave Merritt isn't nearly as old as those dudes. So maybe he is that guy in waiting that they bring on. Maybe
there's other good names. I mean, Robert Saleh is a free agent right now.
It sounds like he's going back to San Francisco.
Possibly, for sure, which would make sense, but that's a good DC. There's a lot of guys that are good. I mean, none of them are Spags, but
right.
There's some young aspiring DCs that can maybe pair up with Merritt if Spags does end up taking a job. But there's always, and I trust Veach in this front office, and Andy Reid's probably got guys in mind that he knows. Spags was one of his buddies. So when he brought him in, that was a seamless fit. So there's gonna be other guys out there too, but it'd definitely be the end of an era, man. If Spags definitely went elsewhere, that'd be tough to watch.
I will say this: if Spags was to lead and they hired Merritt, my entire tune would change on the McDuffie situation. Because Merritt,
pillar player.
I think Merritt would build his defenses around his secondary, because that's where he's from. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm not mistaken, Spags built his way through like linebackers and things like that.
Lengthy edge rushers.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's why naturally he kind of goes that route where he builds his defenses around pass rush and things of that nature. Yeah. Whereas Merritt's more of a secondary guy, obviously. I think that there would be a massive change in mentality of how they build their defenses. Yeah, I do think that
marriage, though, man. Yeah. Those guys, they're so good at what they do on both sides of that.
And let's not pretend like Merritt hasn't got what he's wanted, because the Chiefs have dumped draft picks on cornerbacks and DBs. That's what they do. I mean, that's why they don't pay a lot of quarterbacks or any cornerbacks, because they keep drafting them.
It's working.
And it's working, exactly. That's what I'm saying. If, in fact, Spags was to leave, I do think that the chances of McDuffie being here for another 4 or 5 years goes up a lot.
I get the fans' fear of losing a guy like Spags, who changed a lot when he got here. He started winning rings, when he got here. So that was, he was a massive contributor to the change of the culture, the defense, and things like that. So, I mean, watching a guy like that possibly walk away will be tough, and it is scary.
Yeah.
But
one more thing I want to say about this, and we're going to move on because we have one more thing to get to. We get to speak it, or rather, the playoff games. Yeah. Unless there's a team out there right now that is hell bent on just getting a guy that can just change the culture for a couple of years, I don't see a real change, or I don't see a real possibility for Spags, because Spags isn't a guy that a franchise is going to build around for the next 7 to 8 years. He's not going to be around that long. So, like I said, unless there's that special franchise out there that's just looking for a guy just for the next couple of years to just get things turned around. Because I think Spags could be that guy.
Change the culture of a franchise for a few years.
Bring that championship mentality to that city.
Yeah, he definitely
Maybe that is what they'd be looking for. But I think majority of teams out there right now that are looking for a coaching hire are looking for guys that are in their 40s and early 50s that they can have for the next 10 plus years. And that's just not Spags.
Yeah.
Let's say Andy Reid right now, Trevor. Let's say this is his final year in his deal, and he's walking from the Chiefs. There would be teams out there looking for Andy Reid, no doubt.
Yeah.
But how many teams would be out there, Trevor, as opposed, list the number of teams right now at 66, 67 years old for Andy Reid, as opposed to when he first got hired by the Chiefs?
Oh, yeah.
The list would be...
That's why Clark didn't let him leave.
The list would be substantially bigger if he was still in his 50s than he is in his 60s.
Yeah.
Because teams know, he's probably got a few more years. But back in his 50s, people knew, you could build the next 10, 12 years around Andy Reid, and he can be your long-term coach. That's no longer the reality here for either one of these guys. That's why guys like Matt Nagy is probably going to get another head coaching job. Because Matt Nagy's only, 47, 48 years old? Not even that, maybe?
Yeah, mid-40s.
So that's what they're looking for. You're looking for, like I said, for the next Sean McVays, or the guys that you could just build a winning culture on for the next 15 years. Yeah. So that's why I think it's just different, guys. If Spags was 50, I'd be like, he's fucking gone.
Our guy Noah Groninger in the chat says the Bengals DC Lou Anarumo.
He's old too, isn't he?
Spags goes. Yeah, but he's
he's on Kansas City.
If Spags goes, that would be ironic as hell.
It would be hilarious. That'd be a massive middle finger.
I would be on
Bengals.
board. I like Lou. I think
I like Lou as well. He's like the Vic Fangio type of dude. He's very heady.
Yeah.
Pisses coordinators off on the other side every freaking week.
The fact that he's had our number, he's been one of the few guys that's had Pat's number as far as getting scheming defenses to slowing us down, slowing Pat down, getting after us, getting in our head.
But knowing Andy Reid
that would be
and how loyal he is to his people, whether it's for better or worse, I think Dave Merritt gets the
feel like
job.
that'd be a flex though if we hired Lou.
It would be funny.
That'd be a flex. Bro.
I'm willing to bet though if Spags is gone, I'm willing to bet it's Dave Merritt that takes the job. I really do. especially with the Chiefs knowing that there's teams out there looking for him as a DC.
Yeah, Lou's gonna get a job quick.
That's what. Well, lose. Yeah, unless
Lou's
he
gonna
wants
get-
to take some time off or something.
I feel that guy's gonna.
He's gonna find a gig.
Yeah.
At least be a
DC somewhere.
Yeah,
he'll be a DC.
he'll probably be a DC somewhere.
I believe so.
I think it's hilarious the Bengals fired him. That's because I don't think it was his fault.
They
that
needed a fall guy, bro. They missed the playoffs. They needed a fall guy.
It's hilarious,
Yeah.
man. All right, there's a scenario out there that I kind of created that I wanted to get to because I saw the polls that I put out there, Trevor, and I just want to get your guys' thoughts on this real quick on the show. So we heard the stories we've been hearing about Tyreek Hill and about how he's basically saying he wants out of Miami without really saying it. He put the Antonio Brown picture with him photoshopped on it of him leaving. It's pretty obvious that relationship's going to end.
Yeah.
I think the Dolphins are going to ultimately trade Tyreek Hill.
Basically pulled himself out of the game.
Yeah, I think it's over. I think it's over. I think Tyreek Hill finally realized what we all realized all along, and it was first of all, you don't build a franchise around a wide receiver and expect to win.
Right.
2, Tyreek left everything he actually really wanted, and this is why I don't feel bad for Tyreek Hill, because Tyreek Hill had everything a player could ever dream of. Where he was drafted. He had a world-class quarterback, great teammates, a winning culture, surrounded by a great all-time head coach, and a city and a fan base that embraced him even through his mishaps and mistakes. And that wasn't enough for him.
He couldn't handle being the third fiddle, man.
He wanted to be the guy, and he wanted to make more money. And the Chiefs were offering him all the money he could dream of, and it wasn't enough. And now 3 years later, 2 Super Bowl wins later from this former team, and 0 playoff wins for Tyreek Hill. This is now his reality. He's now in his 30s. He's now expensive to a lot of teams. He's now a flight risk for a lot of teams. He's now lonely. As lonely as he's ever been. And that's why I don't feel bad for him at all, because this is all his choice. However, we know how things are operated here in Kansas City. And we have seen this franchise, more times than a few, bring back assets that can and will help this team win more championships.
We love a second chance out here.
And that is why I'm leaving the door open, Trevor, for a potential return for Tyreek Hill. Now, will it be a trade? Will it be what Nick Wright is propositioning, where the Chiefs wait till 2036, and when he's released or a free agent by any team he's been traded to for the next season, because he probably won't sign with the team he's getting traded to at that age and where he wants to go. I think, Trevor, there's a very significant chance that before he's retired, Tyreek Hill plays again for the Chiefs. Now, people say, well, Lance, he'll be older, his speed won't be there. And all that. That might be true. But you have to think about how inexpensive Tyreek Hill would be at that time if he's that desperate to play for the Chiefs. He would not be able to be making the money he would make on any other scenario. He can make the same mistake again and go somewhere else that they're willing to pay him more for a longer period of time, or he can come back to Kansas City and be the next version of Kareem Hunt, where he fills a role, because at that point, if everything goes well, Trevor, Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice are the headliners of the offense. Yeah. They're the 2 guys that Patrick Mahomes is relying on going forward. And he can play that third fiddle again in Kansas City, but be a difference maker and get back in the good graces of the team he was always meant to be with from the beginning, with the fan base from the beginning. It's a feel-good story if I've ever seen one. Him and Kareem Hunt have different situations of how it ended, but it could be the very similar situation how it begins again. And I think there's a very, like I said, I am going to stick by this, Trevor, until I am proven wrong, until like 2037, 2038 come, or 2028, 2029 come by, and we still haven't seen Tyreek Hill resign with the Chiefs. Then it's just too far along in the tooth. But I think before he retires, I think he takes snaps with the Chiefs again, because it's being presented that way. And if he's still an effective asset, which I'm fully expecting Tyreek Hill to still be good.
Will be until he leaves the game.
Yeah, at 32 years old, Tyreek Hill's still going to be very good.
Yeah.
Barring any massive injury or anything like that, that man is still going to be a badass. So the Chiefs say, listen, Tyreek, we'll bring you in 1 year guaranteed. We'll give you a 2-year deal.
This not next season, but
in 2036. We'll give you a 1 year guarantee with a 2-year option, 2nd-year option, and we'll pay you $28 million total.
It's a tricky situation, though, because he's got 1 year left on this contract. He's still expensive right now. Where is he going to go? And if he goes somewhere, it would make sense for someone to bring him in and extend him.
But yes, but here's the thing: the expensive part falls on the Dolphins. Because his money is $28 million dead cap, so they would eat that.
If they decide to do that,
right?
They can say "fuck you" and keep him on the roster.
I think there's a really good chance he gets traded.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, you don't say that right after the game too. It's a bad look on him.
It's a really bad look.
They're going to want to cut that cancer out. Yeah.
It's a really bad look. I think he's gone. I think he's definitely not playing with the Dolphins next season. I don't at this time think the Chiefs are trading for him, even though the Chiefs have the assets to make it happen.
The Panthers trying to go throw a bunch of money his way or something.
I think the Chargers would make a ton of sense.
Yeah, they got money.
I think the Broncos make a ton of sense. You know, there's some teams that make a lot of sense for Tyreek Hill for next season.
The Raiders, like all these teams in our division, make a lot of sense.
But what you just said though is where I slightly disagree, because you said, well, I don't think anybody would trade for him and not extend him. I think Tyreek Hill could be viewed as that 1-year rental for a team that's trying to get over the hump, because they don't want to invest long term into a guy in his 30s.
Maybe Atlanta, they have young they have a young Drake London who's not making a lot of money.
Yeah, because let's say the Chiefs are in the trade mix for Tyreek Hill. They're not giving him a 4-year deal.
No, hell no.
And most are giving him 2. They're giving him a 2-year deal at most.
Right.
So
it's not.
He's going to become that guy that can become like a mercenary. And if he wants to play, if he wants to go back to where it would all began, or he wants to go back to where he's clearly wanted to play all along, he will take a less deal to be here.
I feel like, I know people are trying to do the tough love thing with Tyreek right now. A lot of the Chiefs Kingdom is trying to do the tough love thing.
Did the same thing with Kareem.
Yeah, I think he would be welcome back. I think you see that dude. That dude was one of the most electrifying and most beloved players this city's ever had.
And think about an offense with him and Xavier Worthy in it,
bro. For
Christ's sake.
I mean, the guy brought some of my favorite memories as a Chiefs fan, dude.
Right.
Like some of my favorite memories of all time were with Tyreek.
Yes.
Bro. So
Let's put up the poll real quick, Trevor. The first one. I asked this question on Twitter. Will Tyreek ever play for the Chiefs again? As you can clearly see,
hell no.
People just don't, and I think that's where your point comes in, where people are like, "No, we don't need him
right now.
We don't need him. Fuck Tyreek."
It's a front.
This is why. Yes, I feel that the reason why 65%. I don't want to speak for everybody.
I'm one of the 35, by the way.
Yes, I am as well. Yeah. Obviously, and this is the next one, Trevor, that I wanted to bring up, because this is where the conversation kind of starts, and I'm kind of long-winded on this, but I think this is an important conversation to have. This is the second one. Which door are you opening for the 2025 Chiefs? You keep D-Hop in Hollywood, or you trade for Tyreek?
Trade for Tyreek.
85%.
That's crazy, man.
Said keep D-Hop Hollywood.
Tyreek is look. D-Hop's is just not the same anymore. Tyreek's like a once in a lifetime type of weapon. And I know he's older, bro, but Tyreek is more of a game changer than both those guys, in my opinion, combined at where they're at right now. Tyreek still is, and he already has the built-in chemistry with Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes has had his best statistical years when he's on the field with him. There's just certain connections between guys, man. And Tyreek is one of those rare breeds, dude, that it has always been just an electric type of guy. He would be more of a dynamic weapon than those two guys, keeping Hollywood and D-Hop around. And I love those guys. I think Hollywood's gonna have a great stretch here in this postseason. I think revisiting this, I think it's probably gonna be even more. It's probably gonna be 100% the top selection there, because I think Hollywood's gonna be great down the stretch, and D-Hop. But bringing Tyreek back, it just would bring a whole different type of motivation, not only for Tyreek, but I think look like you just said. Look at the situation with Kareem Hunt. That second wind he got coming off that, the sports hernia, in the Cleveland situation. You don't think Tyreek's going to have that and more, that kind of juice? So I think that situation would be a beautiful one and poetic as hell.
This is okay. I see this one from both perspectives, because the idea of keeping, this is going to really hinge on a lot of things here for me. If Hollywood Brown and D-Hop ball out in the postseason, I'm very tempted to stay on that side.
I think that's likely.
Because they also,
it's a win-win.
I also think that those two togetger would be cheaper than to keep Tyreek Hill, just from a trade asset.
And it's an extra body. It's depth too.
But here's where I'm gonna fall on your side of going door number 2.
Mm-hmm.
If the Dolphins were willing to say, hey, listen, we just want a mid-round pick to get out of this situation, you guys can have him back. Give us that Titans 3rd-round pick, or give us your 3rd-round pick. We'll take that pick. You can have Tyreek Hill. We'll eat the $28 million. And I think that would be where I sign off on it.
I got a comment. I was going to post this up. Baka87 on YouTube. My favorite memories are winning 2 Super Bowls without him, and probably 3. Hey, touche. That's a great comment.
That's a touche for sure, bro.
I seen that. I was like, damn.
And here's the thing, guys.
Good point.
But I've always said this, and I know people disagree with me. I think the Chiefs still win a couple Super Bowls with Tyreek Hill. It would have been different.
Yeah, we still win.
They would have had to have outscored teams, but we've clearly seen the Chiefs can do that.
Like we don't know what Tyreek was doing in this offense.
Well, case in point, in 2022, the next season, they lost Tyreek Hill in that offseason. That next year, what did the Chiefs do? They led the team in scoring and explosive plays, won the Super Bowl. They had the 16th ranked defense. I think that defense would have probably been around the same if they'd have kept Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, imagine Tyreek Hill just last season could have used the guy.
I very much believe
the Chiefs. He was over there getting 100 or 1,800 receiving yards.
Yes, I very much believe the Chiefs win that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
With Tyreek Hill,
100%.
So I agree.
Probably more convincingly.
I'm with Bach on this.
Not fool ourselves.
I love the fact the Chiefs did they've done what they've done. They've never not won a Super Bowl since Tyreek Hill left.
Right.
But I do think that the equivalence is there with or without him. I do think they still win with him. It's just a great statement that Patrick Mahomes made.
Yeah.
Knowing that Tyreek was gone and everyone threw dirt on the Chiefs the moment they traded him away. So I agree with Bach on that. But like I said, the only way I'm going with trading for Tyreek is if it only takes a mid-round pick and the Chiefs get him to agree to a very small deal where it's like 2 years, 28 or 2 years, 30, where he's getting like 14, 15 million a year, which I think he's still very much worth that.
Yeah.
And here's the biggest reason why, Trevor. I think this is a very serious and a strong reality between these two scenarios. Rashee Rice is going to miss time next season.
Yeah.
And Xavier Worthy, as good as he looks,
cost me a lot of time.
As good as Xavier Worthy looks right now, he's not a guy that's leading the offense right now. Because there's also the factor of what Travis Kelce's going to do. If Travis Kelce retires, you have Xavier Worthy and who? Right now. Nobody. So you're going to need some depth.
Yeah, and like you said, even if we bring Hollywood back, and he's always an injury risk.
Exactly.
Tyreek's been an Iron Man most of his career. This year has been a little bit of an anomaly for him because he's been banged up a lot this year. I think a lot of it's just lack of motivation because the team sucked this year. In my personal opinion, I think he's kind of just taking himself out of games mentally. But Tyreek's been Iron Man, bro. We've seen that dude take licks and get up and play through that shit. He's always been that guy to tough things out for the team.
Yep.
That's why deep down I still love the guy. You can say what you want about his personality off the field. Yeah, it's annoying. He's become very annoying, very pretentious. But on the field, bro, the dude's one of the best weapons in NFL history. Remember that. People, let's not forget that. The guy's he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Tyreek Hill is going to be an absolute Hall of Famer. So, I mean, you those kind of guys are timeless. And if you have a chance to reunite and possibly get another championship together with that guy, of course, man, I'm 100% on board with that. I love Tyreek Hill, so I mean, it is what it is. But I would welcome that guy back with open arms, just like we did with Kareem Hunt. And I think that juice is kind of different when you come back from, you reunite from what you're missing out on. Because obviously we don't need Tyreek. He needs us more than we need him.
That's exactly right.
Of course. That's
where the leverage comes into play. Sure, yeah. You know what I mean? And I think the Dolphins would know that as well. But see, the Dolphins are in a dilemma now because he clearly doesn't want to play there anymore.
Yeah,
so they have to get out of it. And this is why this is why I've been saying all along that I think that there was a chance that he was going to come back to Kansas City anyway, because I think the Dolphins were going to, the wear out of the welcome was going to be there for the Dolphins too. And if there's any team out there more suitable for Tyreek Hill, show me them than Kansas City. There's just not a team out there. I think there's other teams that make sense, but for the need, knowing that Xavier Worthy is going to really be the only notable receiver on contract next year for the Chiefs as it stands with Rashee in suspension. Some people are trying to tell me that Rashee's only going to get like 2 years, two game suspension because he got hurt this year. I'm sorry, I don't think the NFL looks at it that way.
Yeah,
they don't look at him as, you got hurt, so you suffered a suspension. Oh no,
yeah,
because that's not.
The league would be in an uproar if they did that for the Chiefs too. They'd be like, oh, you know what I mean? There's already that narrative out there.
Rashee, we're gonna have Patrick Mahomes blow your knee out. That's your suspension. No, that's not how this works. Like,
yeah, no.
You know what I mean? He's still getting. I think he's going to get at least 5 games. I think at least a fourth or a fifth of the season he's missing. So you need that assurance. You need a veteran presence. What better presence there than a guy that's helped you win a Super Bowl before? And you want to talk about, we talk about how Kareem Hunt, being the guy that full circle and he helps you win a three-peat, how beautiful of a story that is. Think about if Tyreek Hill was to come back years after leaving and helps this team four-peat.
Yeah.
Like, think about, that three-peats never happened.
Well, especially with the offensive lull we've been in for the last couple seasons.
Right.
We haven't had to be because our defenses have been really solid, but you add Tyreek back in the mix of things, man. The whole league's going to be like, fuck.
Yeah, this again?
Again, bro? Like, yeah. Like, that's the only guy Pat's had a true good connection with downfield. Like, that would be, I'm all for it, bro. Yeah. I'm on board, 100%.
I want to hear from the people. You guys tell us in the chat, because we're gonna get to speak in just a minute as far as where you guys see this. Would you guys be down for a Tyreek Hill trade this offseason rather, or do you guys think that it's more realistic that the Chiefs try to figure out a way to kind of double down and keep Hollywood Brown and D-Hop for another year? Because I think that makes a lot of sense too. I quite frankly would be down for both, but I think there are benefits on both sides that weigh heavier than the other side. Trev, I want to talk about these games this weekend, man, because I think there's some interesting matchups to be had, and I know you sent me your picks. I didn't really look at them yet on purpose because I want to be shocked a little bit about what you think is going to happen this week. So let's just start from the first game. Chargers and Texans. This is a game that directly impacts the Chiefs because both these teams could potentially play the Chiefs in the divisional round. We know the lowest seed goes to the top seed. And obviously the Texans are the 4 seed, the Chargers are the 5 seed. If the Chargers were to win, and let's say the the Broncos were to lose, the Chiefs would play the Chargers. If the Chargers were to lose and the Broncos were to win, the Chiefs would play the Broncos. But if the Texans were to beat the Chargers and the Steelers win, the Chiefs would face the Steelers. Does that make sense, guys? I did that with fluidity. God damn. Promise. Hold on.
I blacked out. Ugh.
Whoa.
I'm back.
Oh, hold on. I just did that right, kids. Woo! Call me butter. I'm on a roll. So there's a lot of scenarios here, but either way you look at it, guys, there's 4 teams the Chiefs can realistically play. The Steelers, the Texans, the Chargers, or the Broncos. Those are the only 4 teams they can play. They can't play the Bills or Ravens in the divisional round. Cannot happen.
Gotta wait, guys. You gotta wait.
Gotta wait. Damn it. So let's just start with the Chargers and Texans. I think right now, as it stands, the Chargers are the better team than the Texans. The Texans are a team, Trevor, that have one and done written all over them. They have really struggled with injuries. Obviously, the Tank Dell injury is just terrible. They've had injuries in the secondary outside of Will Stingley, I said that right?
Stingley, yeah.
Yeah, Stingley outside of Stingley. They've had a lot of injuries in secondary. They play a lot of man-on-man coverage, which is what Ladd McConkey tears up. That's a big advantage for the Chargers as well. Justin Herbert's played good, not great football. I don't think that he's like Will Popper out there in L.A. that's been saying that he's an elite quarterback. I don't see that. I think he's been an elite talent. I don't see elite quarterback play. Jim Harbaugh, obviously, I think he's a better coach right now than DeMeco Ryans. I think there's a lot of good things going for the Chargers. I'm picking the Texans in this game.
Let's go.
And the biggest reason why is
Anthony Jeselnik of you to do that.
Yeah, you like that? Okay. The reason why I'm picking the Texans in this game, Trevor, is because of the fact that the Texans are a different team at home. And also the fact that they have just as good, if not a better, pass rush. People disrespect this Texans pass rush. They are the only team in the NFL that have 2 guys with double-digit sacks. Will Anderson and Daniel Hunter have been unbelievably great this season.
That's why what the Chiefs did to them in that game was very impressive.
And you like how I mentioned the whole man-on-man coverage thing that DeMeco Ryans loves playing? I also mentioned the fact that Stingley travels. And Stingley's going to travel with Ladd McConkey. And I think Stingley's going to shut Ladd McConkey down in this game. And Justin Herbert had a fluke game with Quentin Johnston this last week. 13 catches for 186 yards. Y'all really believe that's going to happen again? Let's just look at Trevor, the Chargers' insanely difficult last place schedule this year, shall we? Let's just go ahead and run it down real fast, Trevor, because everyone loves to say that the Chargers won 11 games this year, which I was clearly wrong because I did not have them winning 11 games this year. I think I had them winning 8 or 9. Let's go ahead and look at this rough schedule, Trevor, of the teams that the Chargers had to play this season.
They didn't beat anybody.
Yeah, so they beat the Broncos.
That was like their best win this year.
A wild card team.
That was their best win this year.
They beat the Broncos. 34-27, which is a good game.
Right.
But every other playoff team they lost to. So let's see.
Did they play the Bucs?
Yes, and they lost the Bucs drastically.
Yeah, the Bucs blew them out.
So the Chiefs lost Rashee Rice in week 4 and lost Isaiah Pacheco in week 2. Still went on the road and beat them.
Yeah.
They lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers 20-10. Let's see here. They lost to the Baltimore Ravens 30-23 in LA. They lost to the Chiefs again, lost to the Chiefs again 19-17 later in the season at Kansas City. Lost to the Buccaneers 40-17. I called that, by the way, in LA. So every other good team they beat,
put it on them.
Here are the teams, Trevor, that the Chargers beat this year: the Raiders, the Panthers, the Broncos, like I said in that one game,
right?
The Saints, the Browns, the Titans, the Bengals, the Falcons, the Patriots, the Raiders. Like, I'm not trying to sit here and say they don't deserve to be here, but this matchup, Trevor, is so favorable to the Texans, it's made me change my mind from them being a walking one and done to a team that can win this game, legitimately. Because there's one factor in this game that no one's talking about. Joe Mixon. People forget how great this man has been this season. He will be the X factor in this game because everyone's so focused on what's his name, J.K. Dobbins has been for the Chargers this year.
Sure.
What about Joe Mixon? Joe Mixon has been one of the best running backs in the league this season. And no one talks about him. And this man's going to get fed the ball 30 times in this game, whether it's catching the ball, running the ball, or both. This man's going to get fed the ball continuously. Nico Collins is going to eat that Chargers secondary, which I think is very overrated, alive in this game.
And they're undersized corners, too. They're so
Yes.
I mean, Derwin James is probably obviously the best secondary player, but Derwin James is going to be looking at Schultz and the other tight ends, guys like that.
So I'm taking the Texans in this game, Trevor. I know that I don't know if
Texans are plus 3.
Yeah, they're minus 2.5 for the Chargers right now, according to Yahoo.
Okay.
At 41.5 is the score. I think that they can hit that over, and I obviously have the Texans plus 2.5. I don't think they're going to blow the Chargers out, but I definitely think they win that game like 27-23 or 27-24, something like that. I am taking the Chargers. I'm taking the Texans confidently in this game, Trevor, because also one thing to remember, the Chargers have zero playoff experience. Jim Harbaugh, yes, he's a great coach, hasn't coached in the NFL in 10 years.
Well, the only
and is
experience they
undermanned
had
under
recently with
different
Justin Herbert was one of the biggest choke jobs I've ever seen in the playoffs.
Right.
They had a 24-point lead against the Jags, and they blew it and didn't score but 3 points in the second half.
Yes.
Absolutely one of the biggest choke jobs I've ever seen from honestly an elite talent quarterback in Justin Herbert in that game. So my score for this game is 20-18 Texans. I'm picking the Texans in this game as well. It's going to be a defensive showdown. Both these defenses are really good at not allowing too much points. And I do agree with you. I think the only thing that gives me pause for the Texans to win this game is their offensive line protecting Stroud, because we do know that the Chargers are good at getting after quarterbacks, and collecting and accumulating sacks. And Stroud is a known quarterback to hold on to the ball a little too long sometimes. And he's not the most mobile guy either. Doesn't run too much. So holding on to the ball and you're not the most mobile guy, that tends to be a bad combination for, your team and its success offensively. So if Stroud can get the ball out quick, and I think Joe Mixon is going to be the guy of the game here. I think Joe Mixon's going to go off in this game. Just a hunch. That's
what I just said. Yeah, I really believe this. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, man. I'm in agreement with you. So my hunch is that Joe Mixon has a game and he goes off, and he has those kinds of games, and he's been awesome when he's healthy. I think they could kind of like reeling him in because they know they're going to win this division pretty much since like week 6 this year. That division was pretty much, there was nobody really competing with them truly. They've struggled, man, down the stretch the last few weeks. They've really struggled. They've been without some guys. They're going to have some guys back. And I still believe in Stroud. I know Herbert's the better quarterback in this game for sure. Herbert's been awesome when called upon. But in the postseason, it's a different thing, man. I know John Harbaugh is going to be an X factor for sure because the dude, his experience is up there. He's got a lot of that. But the players still got to go play. And I like the players on the Texans side of things more than I do the Chargers side of things right now. And I think the Texans defense is going to be fucking incredible in this game. I think they're going to be getting after Herbert. I think they're going to be all over him, in my personal opinion. Herbert's another guy that can hold on the ball too long too. But Herbert's also a guy that if you miss on that sack, he's going to make you pay because that dude's got a cannon of an arm. He'll find someone downfield, and he's incredible throwing on the run as well. So this is going to be a close game. It's going to be a defensive game because both these defenses don't allow a lot of points. So I'm not expecting a shootout by any means, unless there's some defensive touchdowns, which can happen. The Texans are good at those. They find ways to get defensive scores. And that could be the play that changes the game if they do find a way to get a defensive score. Yeah, I was kind of teetering on this game a little bit. This is one of those ones, and there's been, I think, a big thing for me, narrative-wise, with this game. The Texans probably feel slighted and disrespected. They won their division. Granted, it wasn't the greatest divisional win, right? But they did win the division. D'Amico Ryan's a hell of a coach. Got a lot of pride. His guys love playing for him. And there's been a lot of everyone's doubting them right now. Right. Everyone's picking the Chargers, and they're the team that's home. They're the team that won the division. The Chargers got to come to their house. There's just a lot of things I feel like that people are kind of overlooking in this matchup, and it's not like the Chargers are some world beater, bro. Like you just went through down the list of the teams they beat. Their best win was against a Broncos team with a rookie quarterback. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like no shot at Bo Nix. He was awesome this year. Bo Nix was good this year. But let's be real right now. They have yet to have like a signature win that's like, oh man, these guys are for real.
Right.
The Texans have, man. The Texans they've beaten good teams. They actually have
that hot Browns team last year.
Yeah, and they actually have playoff experience. right? D'Amico Ryans got playoff experience. Stroud's already got experience just from last year, rolling into his second year. You think Stroud wants to go out there and lose this game? Absolutely not. They're going to do everything they want or everything they can to win this game. And I think the Texans sneak this one out. It's going to be an uncomfortable game. It's going to be a snoozer for a lot of it, I think. A lot of defensive situations in this game. A lot of probably field goals and maybe a score each. One touchdown maybe each for both these teams. I think it's going to be a battle in the trenches here.
Well, real quick, the Chargers have also banked on the fact they don't turn the ball over a lot.
Yep.
The Texans are the type of defense that can get you to they bait you into turnovers.
They got dogs in that.
So what happens? If the Chargers are early in the game, let's say Justin Herbert gets a strip sack, or a early pick that's like bounces off a helmet or something. Like, or how do they bounce back?
Or the Texans say the Texans get an early lead and they completely take McConkey out of the game.
Right.
They make Herbert try to become one-dimensional.
I think
they can't lean on the run like Harbaugh wants to lean on the run. If they're not playing with the lead, it can go sideways for the Chargers real quick, in my opinion. And I don't know, man. I like the vibes with the Texans right now. I know they kind of limped into the postseason, but like I said, at the same time, Chargers ain't no world beaters either, bro. I know it's easy to root for Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Because he has the experience and he's fucking Jim Harbaugh. He's like one of the most lovable coaches out there. So instinctually, you want to kind of like, yeah, he'll take care of it.
But like you said about them,
this is a gritty bunch.
The Texans coming here banged up. Wounded dogs bite, though, man.
Yeah,
and they're at home. If this is in LA,
dogs in the playoffs, bro.
And not that LA has a profound like home fan advantage, but the Texans fan base doesn't necessarily travel like others.
Right.
But being in their house, knowing there ain't gonna be any Chargers fans there,
right.
I really like that energy they're gonna get.
And doubt is a hell of a drug, man. Yeah. When you feel doubted and you know that you're a very talented team, you're a divisional winner, you have a home playoff game, and you're being like overtly looked at as the dog here.
Yep.
Oh, I mean, there's a whole lot of fuck that in me if I'm one of those Texas players.
Yes.
So I think that's going to be the motive. I think that's going to be the motivating factor for them, and I think that gets them over the edge in this game.
Now, this next game is, I think, the toughest one for me to call this entire weekend. And I know it sounds nuts because there's some really good matchups this week.
Oh, yeah.
But this one's really tough for me to call, Trevor. It's the Steelers and Ravens game. The Steelers, and you think that's nuts because the way that the Steelers have been playing last month and the way the Ravens have been playing the last month. The Ravens right now, as it stands, are 9.5-point favorites at home. They're expecting the Ravens to crush the Steelers. And most logical sense, that does make sense.
Yeah.
Because the Steelers, like I said, the Steelers have been playing like dog shit lately. And the Ravens have looked like a world beater. But there's two dynamics in this game that makes this so interesting. Both of these franchises suck in the postseason. Both.
Yeah.
The Ravens with Lamar Jackson are 2-4 in the postseason.
Well, at least in recent history.
Right. The Ravens. Yeah, I'm saying this era.
Yeah.
And the Steelers haven't won a playoff game since 2016. So this is kind of like that fight of the two ugly cousins. You know, like, dude, it's who the hell's going to knock the last tooth out? You know what I mean? Like, you really don't know. I think this is going to be a horribly ugly game. On brand. They're expecting 44 points. I'm hammering the under in this game because both defenses, I think, are going to show up in this one. I think Minkah Fitzpatrick, TJ Watt, Hayward, they're all going to play really well in this one. And I think they moved Hamilton to the box on the Ravens side. Their defense has changed substantially, by 10 points per game.
Yeah, he might have found his new home.
Oh my God, dude, he's killing it as like that strong safety presence.
Been elite the last few weeks.
It's been unbelievable.
Insane too.
It almost feels absurd that he was ever a free safety. Yeah. Like the fact he's playing strong safety now is like he's way better at it.
They've won their last 4 games by like a combined 90 points. They've been blowing everybody out the last few weeks.
I'm not going to pull the Jeselnik one on this one, Trevor. I am expecting the Ravens to win this game.
Yeah,
but I am not touching that 9.5. I am not. I think the Steelers are actually going to play a decent game, at least defensively. Yeah. I don't believe in Russell Wilson, but I think there is an X factor that I will give Dan Orlovsky a lot of credit for. I think you're going to see Justin Fields in this game. I think you're going to see him on third downs. He's going to extend drives with his legs, and that's going to piss the Ravens off because it's going to keep their defense on the field and test their will. Because the defense right now has not really been tested over the last few weeks.
You got to try it.
I think that's the way they test this Ravens defense is by extending drives with Justin Fields' legs. And I think that Russell Wilson will connect on a moonball to George Pickens because they're going to have to get that going. Because George Pickens has been ass cheeks for the majority of this season. I think you finally see them connect again for the first time in a month. And this is going to be a very tight game. In fact, I think the Steelers will have a late game lead, but I think that the Ravens finally pull it out. I'm saying, Trevor, right now, if I was to take a bet on the score, and we'll give the scores on our post later on today,
yeah,
I think this is 17-13 kind of game. I think that this is going to be an ugly, low-scoring game where both teams struggle offensively because both defenses brought it because they know each other so freaking well. Yeah. But I will give the Ravens the advantage here because they have Lamar freaking Jackson, dude. I will not. I know he has his playoff woes, but this is like that. I know it's ironic because the Steelers own him, but I don't think they're going to own him in the postseason. Because Tomlin, I'm sorry, dude. I love Tomlin, but he's been whack in the postseason, dude, for a long time. If I had to give one of these teams the advantage, I'm giving it to the Ravens. Yeah. They're at home. They have the better quarterback. They have the better coach, team. In my opinion. Yeah. I think that the Ravens squeak this one out.
Yeah, this is a classic, matchup between these two teams that just have nothing but dogfights against each other. I mean, there was the Ravens the second matchup this year. The Ravens won convincingly. Lamar just went off. That game just got out of hand, and the Steelers kind of just reeled it in and called it a night. But and it's still Russell Wilson, man, like against Lamar Jackson. Like that's where it's like for me, that's where it kind of hinges upon like the two quarterbacks. But I do think Justin Fields makes a couple appearances, some wildcat plays, things like that. You got to utilize that guy. He's a deadly weapon. The dude can go run, have a 50-yard run out of nowhere. So this game though, the biggest X factor to me is the fact that Zay Flowers is not playing this game.
Yeah,
because
I didn't mention that.
Zay Flowers is incredible at beating the zone coverage and zone man coverage, which is what the Steelers play a lot of. They straight up man you.
Literally.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. They're great at it, especially when they got all their dogs that they need out there, and T.J. Watt's doing his thing up front. They bank on that a lot, and I think they can bank on that a lot because Zay Flowers, they don't have that guy that can take that dump off of that underneath quick slant and get 60 yards with his speed. Right. He's out.
Right.
That's huge. They don't have that. Rashad Bateman.
He has like 30 catches this year.
Yeah.
It's like their second receiver. He's
been great, but he has a good amount of touchdowns just from big plays.
He's a boomer bust player, yeah.
But, I mean, you take Zay out of that, you don't have to worry about him in your game plan. Now they're dependent on guys like Wallace and all these other, like, just kind of glue guys.
Isaiah Likely.
Yeah, but it's going to be a lot of tight end work. It's going to be a lot, which the Ravens could go off with just Isaiah Likely.
Mark Andrews had a good season.
Mark Andrews has been awesome the last 8 weeks of the year. Yeah. So, I like the Ravens to win by double digits in this game.
Okay.
I just
painted that picture of Zay Flowers. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
I got to win it by double digits.
That's the only thing that gives me pause because I don't. I think if the Ravens start scoring points, the game's over. Because the Steelers just do not have Pickens cannot be relied upon at all. And if they're playing from behind, they can't just continually run with the Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. They can't. That's ideally they want to use those running backs to be run first because I think they run more on first downs than any other team in the NFL. So they want to control the clock, keep Lamar off the field, and they do that. This game will be close. Yes. But I feel like Lamar's gonna go out there and find ways to put up points because this offense has been awesome. Lamar's been incredible. I think they win by double digits in this game, personally.
Then tomorrow, because we only have 2 games today, tomorrow on CBS at noon, the Broncos go to Buffalo to face the Bills, who are coming off a bye week, and the Broncos pretty much are as well, because as we didn't really allude to earlier, the Chiefs pretty much mailed that one in from kickoff last week. We didn't even talk about it because there was nothing to talk about. But yeah, the Broncos are going up to Buffalo. Right now, the Buffalo Bills are a minus 9-point favorites. They have the over-under at 48, so they're expecting points in this game. The indication is the Bills should blow out the Broncos, not just because this is like that type of matchup the Bills live for. If you've watched them over the last 4 or 5 years, in the first round they usually destroy their opponent. That's usually what they do, This is with the extra rest and Josh Allen not even playing in the last week, so he's basically had 2 weeks off to really heal himself and play at his best, kind of make a statement game at home. It really feels like that's the kind of game for this, and also the fact that, Trevor, we're being real. We talk about the Chargers not really beating anybody this year. Neither did the Broncos. The Broncos didn't really beat anybody of note this year. They feasted on bad teams, and I think that Bo Nix, although had a good statistical season, this is a tall ask for a rookie quarterback to go into Buffalo with limited resources offensively, which, let's be real, the Broncos don't have a litany of awesome offensive weapons. They have good players, but not great players. It's going to be a really tough task to ask them to do that. The advantage the Broncos do have in this matchup, however, is they have probably the best offensive line in football, and they have one of the best defenses in football, which is going to make this game very scary for the Bills. Full disclosure, I am picking the Bills to win this game. But full disclosure, This is going to be a game that is going to be much tighter than I think the Bills are anticipating. Because I think there's going to be a little bit of a sleep on your opponent type of vibe that comes into this game because the Bills are going to expect to roll the ball out there and just beat this team. But I'm expecting this game to be a one-possession game. I fully anticipate the Broncos are going to give them, because think about this. All the pressure's on the Bills. There is zero pressure on the Broncos. Most people didn't have them here.
Yep.
So they're going to come into this game with Sean Payton giving them all the confidence in the world, because I think the Broncos have the coaching advantage.
They do.
They're going to be situationally ready and prepared, and I think that on third downs is where the key of this game is going to be. If Josh Allen extends drives with his legs in this game, the Bills win this game. But I do believe the Broncos have a shot in this game. I think even though they've not beaten anybody, the Bills are clearly the better team. They're at home, rested, feeling good about themselves. If the third downs are in the favor of the Broncos and they extend drives, because I think they have the advantage at kicker as well, because Tyler Bass is shaky, dude. I think that they can win this game. I'm not picking that to happen, though. I think Josh Allen, like I'm giving credit to Lamar.
You're taking the points with the Broncos. What you're saying.
Absolutely. I'm +9 all fucking day. Yeah. I think this is a 24-20 kind of game. 23-17 kind of game. I think it's a very close, one possession, lowest scoring, and I don't think the Bills are going to go off on the Broncos because the Broncos have too good of a defense. They have too good of a defense, and I think the Bo Nix is going to have time in the pocket because his offensive line is good. And let's be real, Trevor, the Bills don't have that great of a defense, and as of late, their defense has been giving up 28 points per game over the last month. Yep. So this will be a closer than comfort kind of game, but I'm not going to pick against Josh Allen in this round. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. The man is one of the best players in the world. I think he carries his team through the wild card round, squeaks out a victory against an up-and-coming Broncos team that needs to be respected and is going to earn the respect this week. I think they're going to earn some respect across the league by fighting the Bills to the very end. But I do pick the Bills, but Broncos +9.
I'm picking against Josh Allen in this round.
Oh, shit. You're doing it.
The Broncos are going to win this game.
Oh, okay, I'm all ears. I'm like Michael Scott.
This is a bad matchup for the Bills, bro. It's a bad matchup for the Bills. And I like the fact that these teams haven't seen each other.
Man.
They met each other last year. What happened? Broncos beat the Bills last year with Russell Wilson with the worst defense. And the Bills' offense was better last year. They beat them in Buffalo last year. Sean Payton beat them in Buffalo. Listen, man, I don't think it's crazy. I don't think it's that crazy because matchups make fight, in my opinion. And when it comes to playoffs, it's win or go home, man. And I think when you're a loose team, you have nothing to lose, like the Broncos. It's a young, rookie quarterback. Granted, he's not the youngest quarterback. He's actually an older rookie. Same like him and Jaden Daniels over there in Washington. They're both older rookies, which is why I think it's led to a lot of their success. They're more seasoned, and they've had good years. I think everything that, obviously there's an advantage on the quarterback situation in Buffalo. Obviously, Josh Allen is all world, and he's going to do his thing. But the defense of the Broncos is better. They're better on both lines, offensive line, defensive line. I think they're going to control this game. I think there's going to be points scored in this game. I have the Broncos. I haven't given my total score yet, but I think I had the Broncos scoring 30.
So I think the only way, and maybe you'll agree with me on this, the only way the Broncos pull this game off is if they win the turnover battle, right?
Yeah, and that's what I was about to get to right now.
Oh, sorry.
Josh Allen's going to blow the game.
Oh, my God. So you have them beating the Bills, but Josh Allen blows the game.
The Broncos are going to have the lead, I feel like, the majority of this game. And I think Josh Allen's going to be pressing towards the end of this game. We've seen Josh Allen have that look in his eyes where he gets a little nervous. He starts doing that where he's kind of looking all over.
Oh, no, I know, yeah.
He can't look straight. He's kind of I'm telling you, like a deer in the headlights kind of look. It's going to be a situation where Josh Allen's going to have a chance to go win the game, and he's going to blow it.
Oh my God!
I just have a vibe, bro. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about this matchup. This is the one I've been thinking about all week, and it's not like wishful thinking. I want the Bills because I want the Bills. I want the Chiefs to beat the Bills again. That'd be, just keep the tradition alive. This is just one of those things. Football's weird, man. Football's weird. This is one of those teams that barely made it into the postseason, really because the Chiefs just kind of let them. And everyone wanted the Bengals to win, and everyone wants the Broncos to lose in this game against the Bills because they said, it should be the Bengals because the Bengals could beat the Bills. Broncos are going to go beat the Bills this time. I just have a vibe, bro.
Man.
I don't know what it is. And I don't think Bo Nix needs to go be special. I think you could run on this Bills team. You can definitely run on this Bills team. And you could definitely... lately, they've been getting thrown on this Bills
Could you imagine
Dude.
This would be one of the biggest upsets in recent memory.
I know. This is going to be one of those things where, dude, there's always that story in the NFL history.
I know. I agree.
You look back on how did they do that? How did this team beat that team in the first round when they had the MVP? because Josh Allen's going to be the MVP and he's going to get a first-round exit.
I
have a vibe, bro.
I love it.
I think it's a bad.
I thought it was gonna be crazy. I'm just gonna tell you, coming into this conversation, I thought I was gonna be the one that was crazy for saying it was gonna be a one possession game.
Oh, it's gonna be close. I'm not saying the Broncos are gonna blow them out.
No, I'm saying like I thought like cause, it's -9 Bills. I thought you were gonna be like, oh, the Bills are gonna smash the Broncos. You know what I mean? But you're right about the matchup.
Look,
the matchup is there for the Broncos.
Football is a crazy sport, bro. Things can happen.
Fuck.
It wouldn't be the first time we've seen Josh Allen have some kind of blunder. It cost his team.
The chat's agreeing with you, bro.
The dude fumbled. Remember that game against the Vikings?
Yeah.
There was where he fumbled it on the direct snap just to sneak it, put the game away, and they lost.
Yep.
He has blunders like that, bro.
God, can you imagine what the narrative would be going in this offseason if Josh Allen fucks a playoff game up?
I just have
they
a
thought
vibe.
he changed this year, with all the low amount of
Something
turnovers.
weird is going to happen in this game, whether it's a Josh Allen turnover, a costly turnover by the team. I don't trust the receivers.
I agree with you there.
You know what I mean? Amari Cooper's just, he's not reliable at this point. Khalil Shakir is like their only really reliable pass catcher. Their tight ends haven't been very good in any way this year.
Yeah, that's true.
James Cook's incredible.
Kincaid's hurt a lot, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They don't have, I just think, I feel like the Broncos are going to take control of this game.
I want the stat.
And dude, how many
Just for the record, I want the stat.
McDermott shrinks in these kind of moments. If it gets uncomfortable, Sean Payton's going to dig his teeth.
I agree with you on that.
Sean Payton's been here.
That's why I said I give them the coaching advantage. Clearly,
he's gonna dig his teeth into them, bro. And I'm telling you, bro, if he sees a weak deer, Sean Payton's gonna go put that deer out of its misery. This is bad vibes for the Bills, in my opinion. And I know everyone, they're a heavy favorite, and I love that.
I love it.
I love that, bro.
God damn, I love that pick, man. Let's see if that happens.
I don't think Bo Nix, like I said, I don't think Bo Nix has to go be special or anything. I think
he'll
he
have
can
time to
run,
pocket.
control this game. I think Bo Nix can make a couple big plays a couple times a game. He's known to do that. The dude he's made some big plays this year with his feet too. Don't sleep on that. I think Bo Nix might run a lot in this game because this is win or go home.
Agreed.
So Bo Nix can move. He's mobile. Expect him maybe to have a rushing touchdown, a situation they really, really need one down there in the red zone. If they go for on a 4th down or something to get one, he'll dive in there. It's gonna happen. Broncos are gonna win this game.
Well, we got 3 more games to talk about. I can't wait to see what we unpack on these ones because that was from the top rope right there, man. And like I said, the majority of the chat was agreeing with you on this. So I'm assuming that's where a lot of other people are expecting too. I guess I thought I was going to be the crazy one for saying the Broncos are going to keep it close. Most people I've talked to, Trevor, or listened to, think the Bills are going to just shell them. So but I love the take, man. I love that take. The next game is at 3:30 tomorrow on Fox. It is the Packers visiting the Eagles. This is a matchup of attrition because both these teams, especially the quarterback position, are really banged up. I'm going to be honest with you. I nailed the Packers this season when it came to their record. 11-6. I had them finishing, was it 3rd in their division?
Such a weird season, though.
I'm sorry, finishing, not winning their division.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought the Packers could win their division this year. I was still big on the Lions. I had the Eagles winning the NFC East. That's what they did. They had a great record.
Yeah.
But, the Eagles do have an issue with Jalen Hurts right now. They have a Nick Sirianni issue every week. There's a lot to be discussed when it comes to the Eagles distraction-wise and whether Jalen Hurts is going to be prepared or not. But I'm going to be just plain and simple with you on this one, Trevor. Yeah. The Eagles are the better team. And they're at home.
On both sides of the ball.
And I just don't, right now, I have a very strong trust issue with Jordan Love. Jordan Love turns the ball over. Jordan Love has an issue with finding the open man a lot of times.
Not been very good this year, man.
Mechanically, is so inclined to make a mistake. Josh Jacobs has been such a saving grace, but here's the problem.
Yeah.
In most cases, when they go on a matchup, they have the advantage at running back. They don't this time.
Dude, they're going into Philly, too.
They're going into Philly.
It's a tough
place, and again,
man.
I like Matt LaFleur better than Nick Sirianni. I think they have a coaching advantage. But I don't like the Packers as a collective coming into this game. As crazy as it sounds, I actually dig the Eagles vibes more than the Packers vibes right now.
It's good in Philly right now.
There's something clunky about this Packers team that I don't trust, and that's funny because just a year ago we felt the same way about this Packers team, and they go in there to Cowboys land and just beat the living Christ out of them. So would it shock me if the Packers found a way to squeak this one out? No, it wouldn't. I'm just not expecting it. I think the Eagles, like I said, are just matchup-wise the better team. I think Jalen Hurts is going to be healthy enough. Yeah. I think Saquon Barkley is going to have a monster game. And I think that the Eagles' defense is going to turn the ball over a couple of times. I think that they're going to force Jordan Love in some very precarious situations, and he's going to make some bad decisions. And I think he's going to turn the ball over. It's just going to be too much for the Packers. I think that I'm actually going to take the Eagles -5. Yeah. I think they win this game by more than 5 points. In fact, I think that this might be the double-digit game that we're looking at. I could see this one being like the 27-17 type of game or a 30-20 kind of game. I think the Eagles put it on the Packers in this one. What say you?
Yeah, I mean, I like the Eagles in this one. I think they're the better team. This is just it's similar to like the Ravens Steelers game for me. One team kind of just limped into the postseason, not looking too great, which is the Packers and the Steelers. The other team has been on a roll.
Yeah.
With the best running back in football, maybe one of the best running backs of all time on this team, playing his best football of his career.
Right.
And Jalen Hurts going to come in. No, that's the only thing though. Like Jalen Hurts has been out the last couple weeks, dealing with that concussion. Is he going to be rusty?
Right.
Because that Packers defense is a good defense too. It's not they got some dogs on that team. They will get after you. And we've seen Jalen Hurts make some mistakes, costly mistakes, whether it's a fumble or a terrible pick. I just think this Eagles team is just too talented. And I've really started to kind of reel in my expectations for Jordan Love and what he could be. He didn't look very good He's had moments where he's looked good this year. And you take out his favorite deep target in Christian Watson.
Right.
That's a massive loss too, man.
Oh, massive.
So, I mean, they have a ton of young, good receivers on that team. But they haven't been utilizing Jaden Reed very, very well, in my opinion. I don't know why his utilization has been so low. That guy's a talent. Josh Jacobs is a guy that can go on 100% wreck this game too. These are two of the. This is probably the best head-to-head running backs game in the postseason, right? As far as matchups goes, two different opposing teams with the top tier running backs going against each other. So who can control the pace of this game with their running game? Who can open it up as far as the scoring goes? My money would be on the Eagles. And Sirianni, say what you want about him. I know he's an annoying dude. He's coached his ass off this year. These guys play for him. They really do.
I just don't know what he does.
I know. I get it, dude. But guys run through walls for that guy. I
agree.
He's a player's coach. He's annoying as hell. I get it. But he has these guys humming, man. And he has, really good other coaches around him, on the defensive side especially.
Vic Fangio has done a masterclass.
Especially the last 8 weeks of the season. That defense has been probably the best defense in football.
Yeah.
They've been incredible. So finally really starting to come alive on the defensive side. They struggled early on in the year, but they've been dominant the last several weeks. They're just the better team, in my opinion. I love LaFleur. I would love to see him win this game. I really would. I like him a lot as a coach. But I think they're just outmatched here, man. Especially going into Philly, man, the postseason. That's a hungry team. Wants to get back to the Super Bowl. It's tough. They tasted it and they failed. So they want to get that. They want to get that lick back. So I think this is a very, very inspired and motivated Philly team. I think they're gonna go win this one.
I like that. We definitely agree there. This matchup on tomorrow night at 7 p.m. on NBC. Bucks are hosting the Commanders. The Bucks right now are sitting at -3. The over/under is 50.5, so they're expecting this one to be a little bit of a shootout. And I actually 100% agree. I think this is going to be the highest scoring game of the weekend. This is a Commanders team. I'm just going to say it plain and simple. Shocked me.
Dude.
Trevor and I
fun.
We said before the season started on our prediction show, we had I think we both had the Commanders like 7 or 8 wins. Like they're gonna be a scrappy young bunch, but they're just a year away.
Taking on that whole team's taking on the identity of Baker.
I'm talking about the Commanders.
Oh, the Commanders.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm saying like
my bad.
the scrappy young bunch.
Both
It's funny,
teams.
yeah.
Yeah.
We actually said the same thing about the Bucks.
Sure.
They're always going to be in the mix, but they're just going to miss. We had both these teams missing the playoffs.
Yeah.
I had the Bucks at 9-8. They ended up being 10-7. I had the Commanders at like 7-10. They ended up being 12-5.
Gotcha.
So we were wrong on both these teams, but we were right about what they are. Like they're both scrappy, fight to the end type teams, man. That just will not give up, will not relent. They have two different kind of styles, though. The Commanders aren't as good defensively. Let's just be real; they're not. And the Bucks are. The Bucks are a little bit better defensively. They're not great defensively.
Against the runners,
better. Yes,
they're good to run. Their secondary is ass,
and that is why the Bucks are going to win this game. Because the Bucks are going to be able to do things against the Commanders' offense that the Commanders' defense is not going to be able to do against the Bucks' offense.
Right.
I fully anticipate that Baker Mayfield's going to be the better quarterback in this matchup. I think Buck Irving is going to have an absolute monster get-off game. This is going to be a weekend of running backs, just to let you know.
Their running back room in general has been so good.
Rashad White's one of my favorite players
too, probably. Yep.
Like I said, the majority of these games, if you look at the matchups, I like all the running backs. I think the running backs are going to have a big weekend this weekend. I think that
Eckler's back for
the revolution of running backs is going to start coming back because we're going to start seeing them play big roles in postseason runs, which is why I love the Kareem Hunt narrative, dude. I think it's going to be so great. We're getting way ahead of ourselves.
Sure.
I think this is going to be a very high-scoring game. I think this is going to be one of those games where maybe both teams don't even punt. I'm being dead serious. I think this is going to be like one of those like 37-34 kind of games. But I am taking the Bucks in this one. I think they can cover the points. I think they're going to be a -3 game because I think that even though Jaden Daniels has been so great this season, I think that Todd Bowles could bait him into making a mistake or two.
Yeah.
And I just think with the Commanders' defense struggling the way they do, I don't anticipate, unless Baker just absolutely barfs on the field, that they're going to make a mistake bad enough to lose this game at home.
Yeah.
Mike Evans with that getting that incentive and the crowd, the team going nuts. We love seeing stuff like that because we saw this very same thing just a year ago when Chris Jones got his in L.A. and the team went nuts. You felt the morale just spike. The Bucs have had up and down season. Having their best player ever, probably, in Mike Evans, have that the 1,000 keep a streak alive and get the bonus.
Hall of Famer, by the way.
Yeah, the morale just spiked. I think you're going to see that roll into the postseason where this team, I think this Bucs team gets the NFC Championship.
Dude, I'm with you.
I'm serious.
They're a deadly team.
Yes.
They're scrappy. Their offense is just.
We see teams like this every year.
Baker's just chucking that.
Yes,
shit,
and I think that if Baker plays this game and the defense plays all right, they can literally beat anybody in the NFC.
Yeah, they got one of the best defensive players in the world in Vita Vea, dude.
Yeah.
He's insane. He can wreck a whole game by himself.
Their linebackers who are like 90 years old are playing like they're in their prime still. Like I love this Bucs team in this matchup, and I like them actually going into the postseason. So I'm picking them. I all respect the Commanders, but I still do believe they're a year away. They may have surprised me in the win total, but I think they're a team that will be one of those prominent figures for years to come in the postseason. But right now it's the Bucs, and I think the Bucs get them in this one. -3.
Yeah, this is a game that's going to come down to the last possession, I believe. Yeah. I think it's going to be like a game-winning field goal or a game-winning touchdown, just like the game to get them into the postseason last week that Baker through to the guy I think is going to be the X factor in this game, and that's McMillan.
Oh, I like that.
That dude has been coming alive for them. The rookie receiver for them has come alive, especially since having to kind of be forced into a larger role after oh my God, the receiver that got hurt. I can't remember.
Chris Godwin.
Chris Godwin. Yeah, I'm sorry, I was drawing a blank on his name. Massive shoes to fill. Chris Godwin's been awesome for them for years, playing that slot role. And Jay McMillan, it took him a little bit of time, but he's really, really gotten it going. And that clutch game-sealing touchdown catch was insane. It was an insane throw by Baker, of course. He's been doing that all year. But that catch, for him to drag his feet and get that into the corner of the end zone to put that game away, that's a big-time play.
Right.
And a big-time moment for him. And I think that kid could definitely go off against the secondary of Washington, let alone that secondary having to worry about Mike Evans and that running game, trying to keep that under wraps as well. It's just a tough task. It's a tough defense to prevent from scoring points. Ask the Chargers, right? The Chargers have been one of the best scoring defenses all year, and the Bucs just put fucking 40 on them. So this is a team that can light you up real quick in the blink of an eye. And Baker's just out there is having fun, man. Just playing Baker ball. And like I said before you got going, when I was talking about the Bucs, this team is just kind of taking on that identity of Baker. Just like remember that whole little feud that him and Tom Brady were having?
Yep.
Baker was right, though.
He was.
Tom Brady was right, too. They're just two different kind of guys. Tom Brady has that, old man kind of, you do it my way, motherfucker, kind of mentality, because he earned that. Yep. But Baker's also like, hey, bro, let's play loose. Let's go play some backyard football. Let's go get some dubs, put up some points.
He's more chill than Tom.
Let them play catch up. Yeah, let's just play from ahead, just have fun.
Two different generations.
Yeah. And that team is kind of just taking on that identity and tough as nails, just having fun. That's who Baker's always been. Brett Favre kind of way about him. And that it's translated to some wins, man. They won that division. Granted, it came down to a nail biter for them between them and the Falcons. But I like both these teams, man. I like this game to shoot out for sure. I think this will be the highest scoring game of the weekend because both these teams put up points, and Jaden Daniels has been awesome as well. That kid can run around, make plays. But I think it does come down to the Bucs offense having more playmakers, in my opinion. And just the ability to kind of just play loose and spread the ball around, and guys like McMillan are going to play big roles here. Yeah, man, I think I don't. It's not going to come down whose defense can stop who. I think because I think both these offenses are going to put up points. And I think it's going to come down who has the ball last. And I think the Bucs, in my opinion, are going to have the ball last, and they have the game on the line. And Baker Mayfield is good at having those clutch moments. He's clutch as shit. And I expect him to go win that game when it comes down to that last possession. They win by a field goal probably.
Experience matters in the postseason.
Yep.
And I think the Bucs have that on their
Baker's
side.
Definitely got that. Yep.
Which is why in the final game of this weekend, the Wildcard weekend, Monday night, 7 p.m. on ABC, the Vikings travel, I would say, to L.A., but unfortunately this game is being moved to Glendale, Arizona because of the fires. It's terrible. I can't emphasize and stress that enough. It's terrible what's happening in LA, and I hope that they can get this thing done, man, because it's terrifying to watch. But the Rams have to move their game, and that is going to be an adjustment for the Rams. The Vikings have been the better team all year. Let's just be real. The Vikings have shocked everybody, except Trevor. I will give him full credit. I did not have the Vikings in the playoffs. I
think I had them with like 10 wins. But
well, you had them in the playoffs. You called it, and
19 wins.
Yeah, right. 14-3. Sam Darnold's had an MVP-esque season. O'Connell is one of the best coaches in the league. I love him a lot. I think that dude's amazing and well on his way to being one of the best head coaches we've ever seen. I'm being serious.
Not even 40 yet, man. Yeah.
The Vikings have every reason to win this game. The Lions upsetted them last week, and it was a very frustrating game because the Vikings felt good about it. They had a chance at the division. They go from being the 1 seed in the NFC to now being the 5th seed. That's a very humbling experience. Teams like that usually bounce back. The problem is they're facing the hottest team in the NFL. The Rams have won 8 of their last 10. The Rams also have a plethora of playoff experience between Sean McVay, Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp, with a young, pissed off, motivated defense that can get to the quarterback better than most defenses with Braden Fisk and Jared Verse. This is a very dangerous defense.
Basically coming off a bye, too.
They're basically coming off a bye. And now they don't even get to play in front of their home crowd or their home place. So that's going to piss them off, too. But they've got all this. A lot of people look at this and say, oh, well, that's a distraction with the fires and stuff. I'm going to be honest with you. Trevor, you and I are both grown men. I'll be real with you. If something like that was to happen to me, that would make me focus in even more to get my job done. Because the last thing I'm trying to lose, along with things maybe that like my house and things like that, is a game like this. Yeah, well, so I'm going to be tapped in and tuned in because I'm trying to win this thing for my city, dude.
Well, and we know what, as far as us men goes, and as far as sports team played, carried on and played with by men in these situations that I'm about to reference, tragedy tends to motivate.
Exactly.
We've seen the Boston bombing situation. We've seen the New Orleans situation. We see all these things happen, man. These teams, there's a correlation there.
Yes.
So when tragedy is happening in these players' homes, and these people, we know that there's fatalities. There's people suffering right now. You don't think they want to give hope?
Yeah.
To their people?
Oh, and not to
that's
mention,
a massive motivating factor, bro.
I didn't even mention the fact, Trevor, that the Vikings are coming into this game as 2.5-point favorites. So the Rams in a home playoff game,
as they should,
they're using this as motivation. Is what you're saying. They're being doubted, and they're dealing with something that's out of their control. Those two things, a Sean McVay team with the better coach, better quarterback. I love the Rams even more than I did going into this week.
And probably the most underrated running back in football, in Kyron Williams.
100% agree. Puka Nacua is still underrated.
Yeah.
This defense doesn't get any credit.
The defense has been awesome lately.
This is the best, and I hate to say this, Trevor, but I think Sam Darnold showed in this game against the Lions that when you get pressure on him, he's not the same quarterback.
He can turn into a pumpkin.
I think that Sam Darnold lost himself some money. He's still going to get paid, but I don't think he's going to get the contract everyone thought he was going to get, especially in Minnesota if he ends up staying there. The cover 2 defense the Lions was playing with that hobble defense and the way Aaron Glenn put on that master class, I think you're going to see the Rams replicate that. Let their outside pass rushers get to Sam Darnold because that Vikings offensive line is also very squeaky.
Yeah,
I like the Rams a lot in this game, so much so, Trevor, that I'm hammering the Rams. If I was to tease the line, I'm hammering the Rams 6.5.
Minus 6.5?
Minus 6.5.
Oh, wow.
I think they beat the Vikings by a touchdown.
I mean, they beat them already, so I mean,
the matchup's there. All the motivating factors are there. Sam Darnold's coming off his worst game of the season when it comes to what it meant and all these things, and we've seen him have confidence shaken. And I know that O'Connell's going to do his best to get him back.
Yeah.
But I love the Rams in this matchup. I know their secondary is a little shaky, but we saw when you get to Darnold, it doesn't matter. He doesn't get the ball to Addison, doesn't get the ball to Jefferson. I think they're going to struggle. Aaron Jones is not having the season I think they were anticipating him to have. I like the Rams a lot in this one. I'm going to say, if I was to put a score out there, Charles, I'll say,
you got to give them 30 if they're going to win.
Yeah, I'm going to say 31-24, 31-26, something like that. Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah, 31-24, yeah.
I'm picking the Rams too, man. I like the Rams in this game. I think they're the better team in my opinion. I know that's crazy to say, but because they've had their struggles, but they've also been down several important players throughout the season.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp missing time, Puka Nacua missing time. That's massive. The only thing that gives me pause is if that pass rush of the Vikings, which is a gnarly pass rush, gets after Stafford quickly. So Stafford's offensive line, how they play, is a big thing for me, a big linchpin on how I think this game goes. I am picking the Rams to win this game, not by a touchdown, but I think it's going to be close because these are two very competitive coaches, two coaches that know each other very well because O'Connell came from the McVay tree.
Right.
So these guys know each other very well. It's similar to when Shanahan and McVay play each other, LaFleur and McVay. All these guys know each other very well. So they're going to really, really, go tit for tat on a lot of things. They're going to know their tendencies.
Right.
But I'm going with my favorite coach outside of Andy Reid in this league, and that's Sean McVay.
Right.
Who's an absolute genius. And him and Stafford's mind meld has been something to watch. These guys already have a championship together. They've been there and they've done it. And they have maybe the best, outside of maybe the Bengals, which I think they can give them the run for their money as far as the best wide receiver tandem in the NFL. So I think Puka and Cooper Kupp, as long as they're doing what they do, it's a matchup nightmare for any defense. And then you got Kyren Williams, like I said, who's maybe the most underrated and underappreciated running back in football, who's a shoo-in for 10, 12-plus touchdowns and 1,200, 1,300 rushing yards every single season he's been a starter. The guy's insane. So I like the weapons better. And that's saying a lot because you got maybe the best receiver in football over there in that Vikings uniform and Justin Jefferson. But I think we saw something in Sam Darnold, man, and we saw that look in his eyes again. And I love Sammy, man. I really do. I love Sammy. This story's been incredible for him. But he is a guy that shrinks in big moments a lot of times in his career. And this just feels like a moment that's too big for him. They really needed that bye. They really needed to beat that. Honestly, they had no excuse to lose the game against that Lions team the way they did. Because that's a banged-up Lions team. Granted, still a very talented team.
Yeah.
But the fact that they let that Lions defense look as good as they did, and that was down several players. They shouldn't have lost that way, bro. In my opinion, that offensive for the Vikings should have definitely put up more points than they did. That was a bad performance from Sam, and that's something that carries over into the postseason against this feisty Rams team. They're gonna get their ass beat. So I'm picking the Rams in this game. I just like the matchups better here for the Rams, and obviously I think they have the coaching advantage as great as O'Connell is. McVay is the best in the game, in my opinion, outside of Andy Reid. So yeah, I'm picking the Rams here by, I'd say 4 points, 4.5, if I'm betting them.
That's fine. Yeah.
I'm just taking them on the money line everywhere, but that's
that's a great value anyway.
Yeah.
So those are our picks, man. You guys let us know who you guys have in these matchups. That's the wild card matchups. We'll obviously be getting to our divisional, conference, and Super Bowl matchups as those times come about, but obviously can't get ahead of ourselves. We had some hot ones in that one, I will admit. So if you missed it, go back and watch the show or listen to the show from the start, and you guys will get all those picks as we have alluded to. But Trevor, I think it's time, man. We get to the people. We've made them making them wait way too long. What are the people asking us, man?
All right, man. We got a healthy amount in here right now, so keep them coming if you guys want. We got 12 sitting here right now in the chat. But Justin Norton, always from the top rope, man. I love it. Justin Norton always get the first question in. Lance, I know you don't care who we face, but who would be your ideal team to beat to get us to the Super Bowl?
Well, that would be the conference championship that I'm assuming you're talking about. So the team that I think that would give them the best chance to get to the Super Bowl, ironically, is the Ravens. I give the Ravens a lot of respect for being in the dance a lot.
The Bills would be a tougher matchup.
The Bills would be a tougher matchup for the Chiefs this year. And the reason why I say that is because I just think just from a stylistic standpoint, they give the Chiefs, even though the Chiefs have beaten them 3 times,
Josh Allen puts up numbers.
Those are fights.
Yep.
They're absolute fights. Outside of the 2020 AFC Championship, those games have been 1-score games.
Yep.
Going down to overtime and a game-winning field goal or a game-losing field goal. Like, they're matchups to behold. Look, man, there's something that Spags does to Lamar Jackson. He breaks him. He makes him throw the ball over and over and over and over, and they stop running the ball. I don't know what it is. It's like some kind of witchcraft. Yeah. But like whenever Lamar plays the Chiefs, he forgets to run the ball. The Ravens like get all out of sorts, and they just forget who they are. Now, maybe with Derrick Henry that changes. They lean into it a little bit more, but yeah. I just love the advantage the Chiefs have over the Ravens from both regular season and postseason perspective, because to the Bills' credit, they have an advantage over the Chiefs in the regular season. But the Chiefs beat them in the postseason every year. I don't fear any of these teams, but if I was to say there's one team in the AFC Championship that realistically makes it there, I would say the Ravens. I would feel so comfortable against the Ravens because the Chiefs have been beating them now for several years over in the regular season and the postseason. So I have really nothing to worry unless they bring back Clyde Edwards-Helaire from the Saints roster and he fumbles again. Lamar doesn't have a single win against Patrick Mahomes, so I just don't see it's going to continue.
For sure. Lonnie Pyramid with the next question. How relaxed is the team and the kingdom at this point, guys?
Well, as you can see, I'm wearing my robe for like the 4th straight week because I'm that comfortable. If anybody didn't know why I'm wearing my robe, it's a symbol of my feelings and my vibes going into the postseason, I'm as relaxed as I've ever been as a Chiefs fan because the Chiefs have shown me 3 times now that they can win this title in 3 different ways, and I think they're going to three-peat. In fact, I'm very confident they're going to three-peat. There's nobody in the AFC side alone that really presents a true danger to this team. The only team, in my opinion, that could take the Chiefs down are the Chiefs, and that's because they've been as resilient as any team in the league, still not getting their credit, but trust me when I say they will when they hold that Lombardi for the 3rd straight time. I think the Chiefs are insanely relaxed because I think they feel and see things the same way I do, and they've earned that right. They've beaten every team they've faced outside of one, and that one team they may face in the playoffs, and that would give them all the motivating factors in the world to beat that team, unless you're going by Trevor's logic, and the Broncos are going to take the Bills out for the Chiefs not even have to face them. But regardless of what happens, whoever they face, I am as confident as I have ever been as a Chiefs fan that the Chiefs are going to get back in the dance, are going to win this damn thing, and make them themselves the greatest dynasty we've ever seen in the history of sports.
I have nothing to add to that. Julia Gulia. What up, Julia?
What up?
Do you have an opinion on Coach Heck? And have you seen the projected weather forecast for the divisional?
I have not seen the weather because it's so unpredictable. You never really know until you're about 3 days out, and even then, sometimes
Especially
you're still wrong.
Midwest, yeah.
Andy Heck, look, I don't have really any strong opinions on Andy other than the fact that I think that he's a proven commodity at offensive line when it comes to building and developing guys. I do think there is a little bit of a concern because the Chiefs still haven't developed a left tackle. And that is on Andy Heck. I think he needs to do a better job at that. I also think that when you're a team that, and I know this sounds like a cop-out, but it is a fact, when you're a team that's picking at the bottom of every single round, when it comes to getting left tackles, it's damn near impossible to go and land a badass because you're usually getting those guys in the first 15 picks of the first round. And the Chiefs haven't had a top 15 pick in the draft since, 2012? So it's difficult for them to, it's difficult for the Chiefs to get to that place of finding a guy, but I do think they're going to find their way. But I think Andy Heck as a whole has done an incredible job of getting the most out of the guys that they are able to go and get.
For sure. Baka87 on YouTube. What do you think about Cliff Kingsbury reconnecting with Patrick? Selfishly, I am a Texas Tech grad, and I think it would work.
Yeah, I
think talked about this for years.
The only move that Cliff does, I think outside, because I think he's very happy in DC.
That's if Nagy gets a job.
Yeah, I think the only way. I don't think Kingsbury leaves where he's at to go be an OC somewhere else.
Things are good over there right now.
I think if he goes anywhere, it's to be a head coach again. I think he's happy with Jaden Daniels. Yeah. And they seem to have a great relationship. And Dan Quinn loves Kingsbury, and he's letting him run that off. It's not getting in the way at all. Yeah. Man. I can't envision that Kingsbury does a lateral move. I think if the only way lateral he goes anywhere is if he's offered a head coaching job, which I don't think, at least right now. I think he's going to have a few years with Jaden Daniels and then probably either take over that job in DC when Dan Quinn retires or leaves, or
he's unlocked Terry McLaurin too. Terry McLaurin loves him too, man.
Yeah,
he don't want him to go nowhere.
I think he stays in DC.
Yeah, I think so too. And he's done a hell of a job, man. John Harrison, I think if Nagy left, Peterson would come back here too.
And maybe that's so. I would actually, I might shock you guys here. I think that Mike Kafka would be the guy because according to what we're hearing, the Chiefs are trying to get Kafka to come back.
Pat loves him too. Pat had a great relationship with
He was his first quarterback's coach. Yeah. So I think that Kafka is probably the guy. If I'm making a bet, I think that Doug Peterson might be a head coach somewhere else. He may eventually be a head coach somewhere else, or he might take a year off, do some TV, because Doug Peterson's got a great personality. We saw it work for Sean Payton. We see it work for Bill Belichick in some regard. I think maybe Dougie P takes a year off and then sees what the next crop of teams are out there. Maybe somebody gives him another shot, because he is a Super Bowl winning head coach.
He'll be a head coach again somewhere else. He's still young enough, too, to have a lot of things ahead of him.
Right.
Julia Gulia, do you have any game day rituals? I haven't watched a live game on TV in 2 years. Been to a few, of course. I have to let Mitch tell me.
Oh, boy, yeah. Oh, okay, that's what you're saying.
Gotcha.
I thought you meant like you recorded the games and go and watch them. Like, that's insanity, Julie. I don't know how the hell you do that. But no, pre-game rituals.
I mean, we dap each other up right before kickoff. That's about like the only thing. I usually sit down, you usually stand up.
Okay, yeah, there it is. I don't sit during Chiefs games.
Yeah, I'm the one that sits down. You usually are standing up.
Yes, if I was a basketball player, I'd be playing for the Pacers. I am a.
We have our gear on.
Yeah,
we have our Chiefs gear on.
I'm not really a nervous guy when I'm pacing. It's more of like an intensity thing. Like I'm so like pumped up that I can't sit down. Like unless the Chiefs are just blowing the team out or it's a blowout regardless. Like last week,
It's typically a nail biter at every fucking game.
full disclosure, when the Chiefs started getting their cheeks clapped by the Broncos, I sat down. Like I knew that I wasn't even excited about the game anyway. I just wanted the game to be over.
I just didn't want us to lose by 18.5. Like he's just the 18.5, and we ended up
still
losing by
couldn't do it.
34.
So yeah, I'd say that if I had any traditions, it's that, and I like a little bit more of a quieter environment.
Yeah.
I don't like being in, like in the parties. Like we're watching the game and everyone's like, "Hey man,
Buffalo
Dale." No, I don't give a fuck about Dale. We're watching the fucking game. Shut up, Devin.
Don't worry about the third log, goddammit.
Yeah, you were fucking talking about the Chiefs blowing this game. Oh, they just kicked the field goal one. You're like, I don't want to miss moments, dude. Like I'm a big moments guy.
Well,
So
and we also have a show to run here, and we need to pay attention to all the minute little details. So for us, me and Lance, when we're watching the games, which is typically we watch every game together.
Yeah,
we like to have it quiet, So I'll slap my child if they're talking to them. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. It's a joke. It's a joke. My kids do.
that
their
man
own
does
thing.
not hit his kids. Just for the record, that is not what we do here.
Only if they become a Raiders fan, then I'll strike a child.
Then we'll put on the gloves.
Yeah. No, but we don't have too many, but we tend to do the same things.
Yeah.
But it's I sit, he stands. We put on our gear. Watch
I say a
the
lot of
game.
cuss words.
Yeah, a lot of profanities.
A lot.
A lot of happy profanities and mostly happy profanities.
Fuck!
Yeah. Oh yeah, once it's all said and done, yes. But that's about it. Julia, again, I know it's early. Do you have any realistic draft crushes the Chiefs could get?
No, I don't. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I have not even tapped into this class yet. I mean, like the big names right now, but I don't know any of the names right now yet that I think would be realistic for the Chiefs. But I promise you, as soon as the season is over, that is where my attention is going. Because last year, you guys remember, I got bit by the bug. I started loving doing like the mock draft stuff. I've never done that before. But as soon as February hits and the Super Bowl is over, I am tapping into that immediately, and I'm going to start giving you guys some ideas. We're going to have our guys from All Chiefed Up back. Mike Williams, you guys know he's a draft guru. We're going to have several other people on the show to discuss these things, bounce ideas back and forth. But I will tell you guys some of the positions that I'm definitely looking at, and it's no mystery. Left tackle is going to be one that you got to look at, and I definitely think the Chiefs need to up their pass rush big time. I'm saying both defensive end and defensive tackle. I think those are two positions the Chiefs need to go after. And the great thing about this particular draft class is that is actually where this is actually kind of deep. The pass rush and the pass protection is where this class is actually more geared for. It isn't heavy in wide receiver like last year's. It doesn't have a lot of good quarterbacks. Luckily, those aren't positions the Chiefs are really going to be looking for, obviously. So you're looking at the Chiefs might have some players that fall back to them. The other teams aren't really interested in it, or maybe they trade up for and then go after a guy. And I think cornerback's another area the Chiefs are going to draft. And that's another position that's pretty good in this class as well, from what I know. But I promise you, when that time comes, when we're like, 6 to 10 weeks away from the draft, I'm going to be all up in that stuff, and we're going to be talking about it ad nauseum on the show. You're going to be sick of hearing about it by that time. But I promise you, it will be fun. We'll have a lot of discussions. But right now, no, I'm focused on the present.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I don't even really get into that until a few weeks after the season really is over.
Yeah,
because we're gonna have plenty of time. That's what we talk about most of the offseason is those things.
My favorite thing
contracts, who are gonna sign free agent.
Yeah. My favorite thing to do is go on the draft simulator and make trades. Because then you learn the value of what you look at the scores that Jimmy Johnson created of every pick, and you match them up score wise to see, hey, I get this 3rd round pick if I give him this 4th and a 6th. I love doing stuff it's so much fun.
Yeah, it is fun. Lonnie Pyramid, what Marvel character would you give PM15, Omega Red or Bane? Since everyone hates us, I wouldn't mind the bad guy. I mean, it's obviously Thanos. I mean, Pat's fucking Thanos, bro.
So he's collecting
He's got the gauntlet, man. Yeah, he's collecting. He's about to get his 4th stone. I mean, shit. Don't let him get that 5th stone.
And he's deleting freaking careers, too, man.
If you let him get that 5th stone, he's going to have the Patriots dynasty in the fucking...
5th stone, that's what it's going to
be. Yeah. Nah, I mean, I would say Thanos, bro. I mean, I know it's a layup and it's a lazy take, but I mean, it's the ultimate. If you want to talk about ultimate villain,
yeah, I look, Trevor and I, we grew up watching superhero stuff and everything like that, but with all these Marvel movies that have come out, I've kind of gotten marveled out. So I kind of stepped way the hell away from it. But yeah, Thanos would be the guy that I identify with Patrick most because the sheer dominance and fear that man strikes into the entire universe.
Now, if we're talking Sopranos characters.
Oh, yeah.
He's Tony, buddy.
He's Tony for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think he's as insecure as Tony was. I don't think Patrick's going to a therapist, but I definitely think that Tony is is a great representation of just like the fear. It's the fear factor that Patrick puts in the hearts of men, and I think that's the anti-hero, if you will, because Patrick Mahomes, he's becoming an anti-hero. He's becoming Heisenberg. You know what I mean? He's a one of one, and
his competition are the ducks in his pool. So.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, Julia Gulia, Trev, I'm with it. The only thing that gives me pause, this is referring to the Denver game. The only thing that gives me pause, it was Knicks against the Bengals at the end. Couldn't close. How competitive is AFC West gonna be? I mean, I get it. That's what I'm saying. Like Knicks could absolutely go shit the bed. I'm not gonna act like Bo Nix is. He could have a rookie moment for sure. But like I said, like I kept reiterating during my rant about that game, is I kept saying Knicks doesn't have to have a great game in this one. I think the Denver defense is the biggest key here in this game, because they played them well last year, and we've seen Josh Allen. If you make him one-dimensional, say they let him run around and kind of do his thing and get some rushing yards and stuff, but he can't make plays downfield, and they can't really get the running game with James Cook going, and he's really having to kind of do everything.
Yeah,
it's a lot of pressure on Josh Allen. Not saying he can't get it done. Obviously he can. He's been there and he's done it before. This is a matchup thing for me. And I don't think Bo Nix needs to go out duel Josh Allen, because he's probably not going to have better numbers than Josh Allen. I would never expect that. But Josh Allen statistically is going to have probably a good game. I just think it comes down to the wire, and I think Josh Allen's going to screw up late in this game. That's the only thing I'm saying. I'm not saying the Broncos are going to go dominate them by any means, and Bo Nix is going to have to be special. He's not, because this team is a really good unit all the way around, and I think Sean Payton's going to have a really good game plan drawn up. And I thought he did last year, and they beat him with Russ. You got a far more youthful and quarterback that can run around and make plays better than Russ was at that point. So we'll see. I could definitely be wrong, and I'll eat it if I am, but I have a good feeling about this one. And how competitive is the AFC West going to be? I mean, shit. It was competitive this year as far as like the teams, the other three teams feasting on each other. But I think the Broncos and the Chargers are going to continue to get better, and it'll be definitely more of a challenge. I mean, the games are, blocked field goals and, last minute game-winning drives, winning by 3 and 2 points, between the Chargers and the Broncos, between the Chiefs. So, I mean, they're always competitive games. They are tending to get more competitive because there are better coaches in this division. There are better players accumulating on these other teams. So the Chiefs know what it is. They know what we got to do. But Andy Reid tends to always find a way to get one over on the divisional foes, and no matter what division he's playing in, whether it was in the NFC or the AFC now. So competitive it will be, but we will always be on top of that list there. Clear the air with E on YouTube. If the Eagles lose, does Sirianni get fired? It's a no for me, but
I think there's a better chance than no. Because I think that'd be the one time that Howie Roseman would have like the justification in doing so. Because this team has high expectations. They're to be one and done. I think there's a really good chance that they maybe go in another direction. But I'm more on Trevor's side. I think that to the defense of Sirianni, this team does buy into him. I think the dude's a jackass. Very cringeworthy kind of guy. I don't think he's a leader of men, but for whatever reason, this team likes him. But that can change. And if they start losing early in the postseasons, we've seen the same franchise fire the one coach that got him a Super Bowl victory 2 years after doing so.
Yeah.
So let's be real here. It's not like it'd be groundbreaking development if they did fire Nick Sirianni, who's never delivered them a Super Bowl.
It would be crazy.
No.
Yeah.
But I think he's safer at least now.
Lonnie Pyramid, how is Love's elbow? Referring to Jordan Love.
Well, I'm not a doctor, but from what it looks like it's pretty damn rough. It looks like it's hurting him pretty bad. So he's going to fight through that pain. I expect Jordan Love to be all right to play, but I mean, let's be real. The guy across from him got a massive brain injury. So both these guys are banged up, and I think that's why you see some struggles from both offenses in this game. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game overall, but I think that the quarterbacks will be healthy enough to fight it out, gut it out, and give it their best.
Yeah. Let's see, our guy Shaggy Shane in the chat. What up, Shaggies? Last week, there were rumors about the Vikings trading J.J. McCarthy this offseason. Do you think the Vikings simply released Darnold this offseason and keep McCarthy if the Vikings lose on Monday night?
I think if they lose Monday night, there's a real chance that Sam Darnold goes and tests the free agent market because there's a team out there. I also think there's a chance the Vikings might try to capitalize on his value and sign and trade him. where they try to get him to go somewhere that he agrees to, but they get some value in return.
Raiders would be one of those teams on top of the list.
Darnold, I think, is a starter in this league now. I think he's earned that.
For sure.
But we have to remember, man, the Vikings just spent a very early first-round pick on J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah, he's the future. He's got to be the guy.
And I've watched a lot of film on J.J. McCarthy, guys, and he is good.
Mm-hmm. He's what McCarthy wants.
Yes, he's a good quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll be better than Sam Darnold. So any way this goes with Sam, I expect J.J. McCarthy to be the starter next season. Unless the Vikings win the Super Bowl. If the Vikings were to win the Super Bowl.
If they win this game, in my opinion, that he stays the starter next year.
And maybe so. But I think that with the youth, not that, Darnold's only 27, but with the money you'd have to pay Darnold and having J.J. McCarthy on a rookie deal for the next 5 years, you want to capitalize on that because that's why you take a quarterback in the first round because you get that fifth-year option, you get that extended time to build a more expensive team around them for the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
If you keep Darnold, that limits that because Darnold's going to require $35-40 million. And that's a lot of money for a team that just drafted a quarterback in the first round. Yeah. So that's why I stand on the side that if Darnold goes and wins them a Super Bowl, he's their quarterback. But if they lose now or in the second round or even in the NFC Championship, I still think they go to J.J. McCarthy. That's just my opinion right now.
Well, I think they lose. So, yeah, I think that's his. Darnold's probably looking to go start somewhere else, get a big contract somewhere.
Right.
Good for him, man. He deserves it. He played his ass off this year. Lonnie Pyramid. Is it still snowing in y'all's area? No, it is not snowing, but it's still there's still a plethora of snow in our area. But the roads are pretty clear, not too bad outside of some neighborhoods that haven't really been touched. But I think at this point the plows have made their rounds and everything's been salted. But it's just a lot of snow in a lot of yards. That's about it, man. But it's not snowing at all. No freezing rain. I don't think there's any snow in the future coming weeks on the radar or anything. So we've kind of got through this, thank God.
Yeah, no joke.
Let's see. James T. Kirk. What's up, James? Why are the NBA's ratings tanking? I think that it's just the season for them now. I think it's just not the season for them now.
Well, I think it's obviously because the NFL is still king.
Yeah, the NFL is going on.
It's taking over everybody's. Now the NFL's got Christmas games, for Christ's sake. Yeah. That's usually when the NBA season in their mind starts, and that's when the popularity starts to grow. Well, the NFL's only getting more and more popular, so that does come at the chagrin of the NBA. I'm guaranteeing you, once the NFL season's over in February, you're going to see the NBA uptick on ratings,
betting wise too. And once nobody's betting on the NFL because there's no NFL games to bet on, there's going to be a lot more eyeballs when people start betting on the NBA when the NFL season's over.
Yes, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, the ratings have definitely been going down. I think it's mostly because of the NFL season because that's how it is every year. The ratings are never really doing great when the NFL is going on simultaneously with the NBA season. And plus, the second half of the NBA season after the All-Star break and stuff, that's when like the ratings start really going up because like people start to see like what the playoff picture is going to look like, the MVP race and all that, and that stuff is when it really starts to pick up.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, the NBA is going to be just fine, man. Mac 10 on YouTube. Which running back between Hunt or Pacheco will have an impact in the playoff? More of an impact in the playoffs.
I want to save this take as best as I can, but I can't help it now that it's being asked. I fully anticipate Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, I mean,
I know the Chiefs are going to want to use Pacheco as much as they can, but there has been, especially if you guys want this so badly, where Tooney's over at left tackle, you've seen a massive difference in Pacheco. He cannot get through the line. Kareem Hunt continues to find ways, but Pacheco's really struggling to find the holes and find the gaps right now, man, to get in that second level. And Kareem Hunt just continues to stay a net positive. I know he's not the athlete he once was, is not the athlete Pacheco now is, but there's something about Kareem Hunt's decision-making and body wiggling. And
he's savvy,
yeah,
man.
He just does the things that are always a net positive.
Always falling forward.
So I'm going to say, yeah, I think it's going to be Kareem, guys. I think Kareem's going to be the major benefactor and the major contributor out of the backfield for the Chiefs. In fact, I'll go as far as to say there's a chance that Samaje Perine might make bigger plays than Pacheco in this postseason run, because Samaje has shown on third downs he'll make big play after big play.
Pacheco's not healthy. I mean, it's pretty
And that's
clear.
not a knock on Pacheco, yeah.
He's been practicing in full, but I still don't. I mean, that he's coming back from a broken leg, man. Like, that's not just.
It's a lot.
Most people takes out the rest of their season. Like, most people don't even come back typically from that. I mean, after a long time, but he had his time off. But let the guy get himself back, man. And the way he runs is he can't. I mean, you got to be 100% to really continue to run the way. And he's played through injuries. I mean, last Super Bowl stretch, He was playing through ribs and all kinds of shit. He was doing that shoulder sprain. I think he was dealing with as well.
Yep.
A lot of stuff. So the dude's a warrior. I mean, I think both guys will be impactful in the way that they do it, but they just do it in different ways.
Right.
Pacheco's that dude that can hit a home run. He can hit a 60-yard touchdown. Kareem's not doing that without needing oxygen immediately. So, but Kareem's that guy in third and short. You better fucking believe I'm giving him that rock. That's the guy who's been the best solution for our third and shorts all year. So as far as impact, I'm picking Kareem. That is it for the questions, man.
Awesome stuff, guys. We appreciate you guys every single week. If you guys could continue to be in that group chat with us, man, it's really what it is. It's a group chat, and we just love to talk back and forth. Like I said, we do this every week. So when I tell you the top of the shows, I tell you the bottom of every single show. If you've not already done it, go to YouTube, go to the Spoken Podcast, hit subscribe, like, notify, share, all that stuff. But the biggest one we need you guys to do is get in the comment section, especially when we're going live, so we can actually have a back and forth with you guys, because that's when it makes it the most fun around here, the funnest, if you will. Trevor, we have one more.
Fun.
Yeah, no, yeah. We have one more order of business to get to. Trevor, what is it called?
Hold this L.
Each every episode, we finish off every single episode with a series of L's in the world of sports. Whether those L's are friendly L's or not so friendly L's in the world of sports, we promise you, who's ever holding the L's in the world of sports deserve those L's in the world of sports. Trevor Twidwell, who's holding the L for you this week.
So there may or may not be a correlation between my L and your L,
Oh.
you and I's, but I'm going to do it either way because I think like it's deserving to double down on these people either way. Cincinnati Bengals fans. Skyline Chili Ring is what I like to call them. Yeah, that's my nickname for them. Skyline Chili Ring. The Reddit, the Twitter X accounts, the feeds, the Facebook drama, all the things that is going on between these folks that just cannot take in the reality that they didn't make the postseason.
Take an L.
They were not good enough. Your Lord and Savior Joe Burrow, frosted tips and all, couldn't muster up the power.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, bro. I mean, it's the reality, folks. I don't know what to tell you. The drama, the epic rants, and the somehow blaming the Chiefs for having the ability to rest starters to end the year to ruin your hopes, hoping that we would do you a solid and give it our all in a meaningless game against a divisional team. It's just, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you guys, man. It's been I have no examples to pull up because it's not even necessary. Because everyone else has seen it. Anybody in the the sports community that has been having eyeballs on any kind of social outlets that give Bengals fans the time of day to speak their minds. It's a sad place right now. It's a very sad place, and I'm very happy about that because they deserve all of that, in my personal opinion. Because you brought it on yourselves, kids. This is what happens. If you come with the king, you best not miss. So y'all came with the king, and since the Burrowhead statement, we've been talking about this shit all year long. It's been whippings, right? So consecutive years missing the postseason. Congratulations. What's that feel like? I don't know. It's been a while. So it's been a while since we've dealt with that. So this is more directed towards the fans, less than the players, because the players, that's a whole other situation to talk about. But that fan base, the sadness, that is your reality on social media. It is a wet blanket on social media right now in that world over there. Don't envy y'all. So y'all can do me a favor though in the meantime and hold this L.
Our guy Red Trip Cinema, shout out to Clay Windler, just came in and said, I call him Joel Burrow because Joe is reserved for goats. Touche,
Old Joel Burrow.
Joel Burrow.
Joel.
I just call him the L holder because he gets one for me every single year. Trevor, we go ahead and put up that little beautiful graphic that I made for Joe Burrow. This is for the Burrow fans, Bengals, everybody. This is for you. This is your
So icy. Joe Brr.
Yeah, go ahead and put that up if you can. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Joe.
Look at it. Trevor, if we could. So, you guys, look at his face. You see the cute face he makes whenever he does that shit?
Oh, man.
So Trevor and I, and this is very preemptive. We have not discussed this. We're going to do our best Joe Burrow face. Okay, so Trevor, look at his face. He does that stupid-ass, cringy-ass face. And I'm going to do mine, okay? You ready? All right, Trevor, your turn.
Oh, Jesus. No, I'm good.
Okay.
I don't think I can.
Well, I did.
Yeah.
Looks like he's like shitting and he's like pointing at his arm. He's having a heart attack while he's shitting.
This is what it looks like to miss the postseason consecutively.
Fucking weirdo. Look, Trevor said it best, and I'm not gonna take too long on this because that's the truth of it all. I love though that everything that is being said on that side, if it was the other way around, how much they would be laughing at it themselves. Imagine Chiefs fans going about it the way they're doing, where they're literally sitting out petitions to reverse the way the playoffs have gone. Yeah. Watching 𝚂𝙿𝙸 and these other Bengals players watching the Chiefs get smashed was absolutely hilarious. Like I've never seen. I can't think of a time, Trevor, where I saw a team more upset at another team for not doing their bidding. It is unfathomable. I thought it was all about what you did or didn't do, and you live with the results. That's not even the thing anymore.
In the fan created narrative too, that we were trying to avoid them. Bitch, I wish we saw you guys.
And that's why I love what Travis Kelce said.
That we would see you in the next round.
That's why I love what Travis Kelce. Travis is usually so PC, and so reserved, and so careful. He's really grown up. But I love that you saw that old Travis come out. And he's like, I ain't scared of no fucking buddy. He goes, we'll go play them in a Walmart parking lot right now. That's because that's genuinely how they feel. This Chiefs team doesn't fear a motherfucking soul.
Right.
And that includes any of you chili ringers out there in Cincinnati.
Skyline chili ring, baby.
They don't. You don't strike fear in anybody when you lose to the fucking Patriots in your home opener and you put up 10 points.
That's your home.
It's your home. Suck my white ass, Burrow. So for that, and Mr. L here and everybody else, Trevor, do me a solid, Bengals fans, and
hold this L, Joel Burrow. Moving forward.
Fucking weirdos. Oh man, this has been a fun show. Thank you guys for being here today. Our guy, everybody chimed in today. I love it, man.
Yeah. We've been holding a hell of a lot of viewers too, man. I love it. You guys are giving us your eyeballs, and I love it. Yeah. I appreciate giving us your time. Much appreciated.
And thanks for all the growth on YouTube, guys. That's where we're really trying to make this thing happen.
We love a good growth.
I love a good growth. Nothing like getting a load off. And I'm telling you that you guys are helping us with that. You know what I mean? That's acceptance. But you know what? This is a great day for football, and hopefully we got you guys like amped up for it because we made our prediction. We want to hear from you guys as well. Follow us over on Facebook as well. We'll give you guys our full list of score predictions for these games this weekend. If you're on Facebook, just go and join our Facebook group. We got over 6,000 people in there right now. That's where this whole thing started. We're on Twitter as well. You see all of our information on the bottom. But we're on here every week doing shows, man, and I hope you guys are enjoying them because we sure as hell do, and we love that you guys are a part of this, man. It's so humbling to see every single week that you guys give a shit about us talking sports, man. It's really so cool to see, and I can't put a price tag on it because this has been my passion project, my baby, if you will, and you guys caring enough to be a part of my baby means a lot. So thank you guys, man. So for Trevor Twidwell, for the great Clay Windler that puts all this together on the back end of things at Red Tribe Cinema, I am Lance Twidwell, episode 290 fucking 9 of the Spoken Podcast is done, finished, and finito. And until we're back here in 1 week's time, ironically, episode 300 to talk about the Chiefs starting up their three-peat fucking run, baby.
Oh, it feels so right.
We are out of this bitch.
Later.